All right.
I don't know. I think they're probably
Here
gonna
we
have
are.
all the drivers drive pretty cautiously while he's out there. That's
I'm
my
doing more
guess.
research. Apparently, it's just gonna happen during the formation lap or something.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
Welcome
bet you-
to Racing Talk.
Yep. That's
Motorsport. Motorsport madness.
Motorsport madness.
Ugh, not a sport.
Okay.
Oh man.
Welcome to the live stream, and may the 4th be with you.
Yeah,
Bob is the world's
Haha,
biggest Star
I'm
Wars
the
fan.
one that got that out first.
Bob.
Yeah.
We briefed you on it though before the show. You didn't even know it was May the
No.
4th.
I did too.
Okay.
How are you celebrating?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not, but I did know.
Well, you're gonna celebrate by watching Spaceballs. That's the closest you'll ever get to Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, that'll work.
I swear to God, when Bob's like on his deathbed in the hospital, I'm gonna come in and play Star Wars for him, so he's forced to watch it. Like, look at it! I'll pull in the plug if you don't look at it.
He's gonna be like paralyzed or something,
Yeah.
or like holding up an
Holding
iPad
the,
with like
the monitor right in his face.
or like showing him the movies in release order,
Yeah.
except for the sequels. We can skip those. We'll allow you to. We'll save you.
Yeah, those will not be canon in Bob's viewing of Star Wars. He'll never know the atrocities done to the Star Wars universe.
See, sounds like I don't want to watch them.
You do,
sequels,
just not
you
the
don't-
last three.
Yeah, they fly now. My brother in Christ, they've been flying since the Clone Wars.
Yeah, I know.
It's just so funny. That's got to be one of the best lines of all of modern cinema.
For sure. And that's only a modicum of how great the rest of the dialogue in that franchise is. Those three movies, installments are so great. Oh man, I love it so much. My boy Kathleen Kennedy helping us out there.
You got a lot of boys you don't talk to.
Yeah, I don't like them. I don't like boys, I like men. Did that placate? Uno, dos, tres. Wow.
You're not the first one here. Coaster Team's been here since, I don't know, what, 6
Putting her in
a.m.?
timeout. I'm putting her in timeout. I'm just-
Get timed out, Pat. Subscribers only.
only Orange Pam. I don't know how to actually
Audio's crazy? All of our audio?
Uh-oh. He's like, it's just this really sharp buzzing noise.
It sounds like Bob has his phone up to his mic, repeating.
It's
I'm
how's it
gonna listen in real quick.
I don't know how.
Doesn't sound like it on my end.
Coaster Team's got, you probably have 2 streams going.
Yeah, I was
I've
about to
done
say,
that once or twice.
make sure all your tabs are closed. Oh wait, I'm gonna go.
I've done, actually, if you listen closely to like when I start the stream, a lot of times you'll actually hear that happen. Oh no,
Yeah,
you
Timmy.
won't, because it doesn't echo back. That's
One of
right.
our users one of the users that is blocked from our account is this is their username, okay? Suck
Okay.
my dick. Oh yeah, that's the spot. It's so good. Oh yeah, lick off the head. Oh yeah, I came.
What if I told you that was me trolling?
I know I would believe it.
Let me just log back into suck my dick. Oh yeah, that's
Actually, I'd believe that was you not trolling.
I know, right? That was you being dead ass serious.
yeah. That is That is actually where do you see, is that is that something I can see, or is that something that's on the channel?
I'm on the stream side of it. So
Gotcha. That is funny.
He's in the.
this is a fun. And then someone else's username is actually kind of funny. Optimistically cynical.
It's not as good as the other one, but
Yeah, it's not.
Oh, that's what we're talking about. The second half. I didn't even know. I just happened to read it.
I love how prepared Bob is.
I'm not used to having the topic.
Time and
but at
Bob
this
still
point-
hasn't even seen the rundown.
Now this is about the part where we say, "All right, we're ready," and then James is like, "Yeah, let me test my audio." He's like, "It sounds good," and then we'll start, and then like, "Oh my god, my audio isn't working." After it's been tested, and
then Timmy will be like, "All right, guys, we're good." And then he black
and then
screens.
my computer just, I tried to fix that. We'll see if it works. I unplugged everything from the wall, and then I ran an extension cord behind me.
You
to a
re-plugged
different
it all
outlet.
in.
I ran it to a different outlet to see if that fixes it. So we shall see.
Now, when the sparks happen, it will be behind him, and we can
That's right.
actually see it.
And then I'll catch fire.
Yeah.
Like
You just see Timmy's like record player catch on fire and then
Like-
slowly
like-
trickle over to him.
Like Murphy, the freaking dragon at Phantasmic. We'll be fun to be one.
So, Coaster Team and Pam. Well, I know the answer for Pam. Did you happen to listen to the actual released podcast at all?
No, I hate YouTube, man.
Thank you.
What happened?
His
having a
audio is
mirror.
not working.
I hate when it like certain features are only if you're eligible. Like, why can't I have a subscriber only chat as a 375 subscriber channel? Like, what the fuck does that inhibit? Why does that have to be inhibited to only? Why does that inhibit my channel? Why can't why do you have to have 1 million subscribers or whatever to be eligible for subscriber only chat? That makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense actually.
I hate
It's a
when
numbers
social media
thing.
platforms like provide certain features that like what's the like with Instagram? Remember you weren't able to like post links on your story unless you were
yeah.
had like 1,000 followers or 2,000. It was like what the who why? That doesn't make any sense.
I guess it's probably like to pad your numbers. I don't know. They don't want to like cut your numbers. I don't know. That's kind of
But the
interesting.
thing is, people could still tune in. They just couldn't comment unless they subscribed.
Right, but that's the thing is they want more. They want channels with more subscribers to pad their numbers.
Oh wait, hold up. I lied. I'm eligible.
Why are you eligible?
I'm
we
just
have-
eligible.
We have 1,000 subscribers now.
Oh,
James is bottom.
Hey man, look now. Did you see? Did you see?
Yeah.
Do you see the little update? I like that feature.
that is actually a good feature. So,
So all the bots will be subscribing to us at least.
At least we
that's
get
what's
at least our numbers get padded for real this
Yeah.
there, yeah.
time. There's a lot of customizable features.
So
in there.
that's only for chatting, right? Yeah, yeah. I
That's
guess
for
that would
chats,
make
yeah.
sense. Yeah.
What other features are there?
I can turn off live reactions. I can do like a slow mode message delay. So like, if I guess if I wasn't gonna do subscribers only, I could turn that on so bots can't spam us. Slow mode ensures that you can only send a certain message between a certain amount of time. But that would also like I wouldn't want to do that because
Yeah, then the actual chat.
people that are actually chatting couldn't continuously have conversation because it would stop them from sending messages. So, but like that's a neat feature, kind of. I can turn off live chat.
Timmy, you found a new way to spell DeSantis.
I did.
Is
That's
that
what he
like
is.
is that like Dincy?
Wait, I got a better one.
I don't know if you even realized it. Did you guys realize Dincy?
No.
No, I did not.
Last week's show was spelled Dincy.
That was it.
Yep.
Awesome. I wanted to change the name of it too, but I didn't have time. I kept forgetting.
to Santa Claus.
We were gonna change it to Disney Fires Back or something like that, or Disney, something like that. I can't remember what was it. What was the name of the episode?
Disney. Let me look.
Disney is on. Dincy
is
is
on
on
fire.
fire.
Dincy is on fire. Timmy, no.
James, you said you were gonna change it anyways.
I wasn't kidding. I was being serious.
I didn't realize it was the name of the episode. I thought it was like the fucking show notes.
That's literally what I said.
Let me guess. If we change it now, it's gonna be two episodes.
Don't change that.
No, I changed it. It won't make it 2 episodes. It'll just update. It'll just refresh the feed, and it'll pick it up as a new, like the edited title.
Cue the tweet storm in 5, 4.
That was crazy. That was so ridiculous.
I was just going through and deleting them.
You know, Pam and Coaster Team haven't said anything.
Because that
They're
has
not
zero
subscribers.
subscribers.
Did neither of you subscribe?
No shot. That would be so upsetting. Honestly, that would upset me. Oh, I can turn off the inappropriate message catcher too. Like for roller coaster. Should I do that, or is that funny enough now that we just want to keep it?
Just keep it, because there's other stuff that could be said.
Yeah, but we're R rated now, so who cares?
Like the H word. Hybrid.
I turn our default
Pam
units from.
subscribed.
She's pretty sure she subscribed. Clearly, if you're saying that, you are
Well,
subscribed. Pam.
that confirms it.
Should I change our default currency from U.S. dollars to Ugandan shillings?
No, turn it to Zelensky's.
Zelensky.
Switch it to rubles.
Rubles. Our show will be depreciating faster than can count. I'm trying to even find. I don't even see the Polish coin on here.
Zloty. I love me
It's
good
not.
Zloty.
It's not called a zloty if it's on here. Oh, it is. It's just listed as PLN because it's Polish. Okay, I was looking. I was like, it's not on the Z's. All right, it's now our default currency is now the Polish zloty. Next time that we
In a
get
donation.
get a donation,
That could mess with your regional settings.
nah, I doubt that. This is just for the stream.
Next thing you know, we're getting a bunch of subscribers from Poland.
I took the road to Poland.
I know Bob likes that song.
Yeah.
Our live chat's just all Polish speakers.
Because our currency is Polish.
We can't hold the messages for you because we don't even know what the fuck they're saying.
Pass them about land jumping. How much
Bro,
they
that was
love land
hilarious
jumping.
when Hyde or one of the or Larson Loops or whatever was like, oh, the Polish are so much more respectful and cautious and kind out there when it comes to following rules. That's why they can do that system where they permit you certain spots and allocate a certain amount of spots in line for you. And then we're like, no, they're cutting in line like nonstop. What are you talking about?
It's crazy. Like we go and then like we'd just be standing still and there'd be so many more people in front of us.
Bro, that group of girls just got in front of us.
I know because we said something to them in English and that pissed them off.
And they did. And then they tried to get their guy friends in front of them too. And we remember we wouldn't let them.
Yeah, and then
Timmy and I were like
we built a
building
wall.
Coaster Team speaking
Yeah, we hit
Polish.
him with the true American welcome and built a wall.
I'm really hoping Gojo Team just went to Google Translate and got that. If he didn't actually speak Polish, that's impressive. Because I actually have Polish roots. And I
What's
can't
it
speak
mean?
Polish.
It means I'm from
means-
Lesser Poland, which is a thing
It
I
is.
learned.
It means hello, Q fans.
You fans?
Q.
Ah.
That's what it. At least Google Translate got it too. Here, I'm gonna.
I will build a great wall
That's
on
amazing.
our
James.
southern border, and I will have Mexico pay
That was James
for that
and,
wall.
and those girls
Mark
that are
my
guy
words.
friends too.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. That's funny. Well, I went to go. I took the walk to Poland. It actually auto corrected it to walk. WOCK.
Pam, you're the one yelling build the wall. I thought it'd help you out.
Don't be rude.
Yeah, my grandparents actually, or my great grandparents were fluent in Polish because they were actually from Poland.
What kind of wall are we building? I don't
I
get
know.
it. What?
A Lego wall.
I'm pure rude. Soda.
You are fake news.
I'm sorry. His sound bites are so funny.
They are.
It's all fake news. It's phony stuff. It didn't happen. Wrong. Wrong.
Look up like a China. Look up him saying China.
Yeah, nah.
Line jumper's wall.
I like the one where he's like, "You're a very rude, terrible person."
I love the Dr. Phil sound bites where he's like reading texts or like messages from somebody, and he's like, "I want to kill you," and like, like just some really obscene stuff.
Yeah.
It's just
Like
so
rape your
funny.
dead body.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to say that, but I was not going to say that.
For Donald Trump and for Donald Trump's very, very large brain.
A brain.
A brain.
A brain. That's not where I thought that was going.
I
me
don't
some-
give a damn.
Give me some brain. I like where
Donald
he's like,
Trump.
"You're just such a nasty woman, Hillary."
Are you gay? Are you gay?
Because you'd be in jail. It's just very
Look at
important
this guy.
that- Oh, look at me. What does he do? He's like, "Oh, look at me." I can't think of how does he finish that quote? Remember this
I
when he's
don't-
making
I
fun
don't
of
know
the
that
guy
one.
with autism?
I know what you're referring to, but
He's like, "Look at me, I."
I have autism.
No, it wasn't. That wasn't that.
Little Rocket Man.
Talking about Elon Musk.
How do you lie to the FBI and now you're running for president? Seriously, how do you lie to the FBI and now you're running for president?
Huh.
Interesting.
How do you run for president and then lie to the FBI?
Not even run for president. How do you become the president of the United States? And then,
Oh, that's what it was. He said, "Oh, I don't know what I said. Oh, I don't remember." That's what.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Biden has some great sound bites too.
Oh my
just where
god, Biden is in. Oh yeah.
it's so funny hearing him like just like ramble.
If it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to,
Oh, never mind.
we're ready to get a lot done.
Look up the one about corn pop. That's a good
Corn
one.
Pop was a bad dude.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude. And he ran a bunch of bad boys.
Radical
Question.
left.
Will you
Who
shut
is
up,
on,
man?
listen, who is on your list, Joe?
That was such a great debate. You shut up, man. Who the fuck? I mean, who the hell thought we'd be at that point in presidential debates in 2022? We've evolved that far as a species. Oh my god! Our rejoinder from the presidential candidate is, "Will you shut up, man?" It's like Timmy when I get on his nerves or something.
Exactly.
Joe Biden. Joe Biden.
Hello.
Chocolate chip.
I want to say hello. I like to walk out on the road to go in. Come on. I like to walk out on the road to go in. You think I'm joking? I'm not. You know what I mean? I like to walk out on the road to go in. What do you think, huh? I like to walk out on the road to go in. Find a single word. I was in excuse me.
The foot of
It sounds like for 2 seconds he turned into a fish.
I know. America is a nation that can be defined in one word. Excuse me while I have an aneurysm.
Oh, what was that one word that like? Oh, I can't remember. It was like really long. It was. Oh, I can't remember. He just had like one word. There was like super long. That was like during one of the debates or something. If I'm not gonna be able to find it though.
What are you talking about?
He like he had it sounded like he had an aneurysm for like during like one of the debates or something, or like one of his speeches
Who?
where Biden. Oh, it was like something the pressure or something. Anyways, it was just
Yeah, you're losing me too here. He said doodle doodle.
and then, like, yeah, pretty much. He's like he strung a whole bunch of words like into mumbled them all in like one word.
That sounds like Tuesday for him. Any given Tuesday.
God bless you.
What the hell? My whole desk just randomly shook for some reason. It's a little disconcerting. Yeah, we're off to a great start. I don't know. What the hell are we even doing?
Not recording.
That is true. Should we record?
No, let's just do it tomorrow.
Okay. We lost James.
Who?
Cares. He's stuck in the YouTube hole.
All right, I'm just watching Biden hug Hillary. He gives her an endless hug.
In the YouTube hole?
Yeah.
And then this hug.
He's
It's like when
literally-
he starts sniffing girls' hairs.
CNN actually timed it. Let's see how long this hug lasts. He's literally just sitting there with his arms around her while she's like trying to talk to him, and he's like this, just hugging her. They timed it. This is funny. She's trying to put. It looks like she's trying to push off of him.
Have you seen those videos where it's like they act like he gets lost or something, and it's like a voiceover from like the FBI or like Secret Service or something, and it's like, all right, now the eagle just needs to make a right, and then he'll be there, and he just keeps going straight and starts
Yeah.
walking across the White House lawn or something.
Yeah. They're like, why is he? They're like, code red buttons across the line. He's going across the line.
Yeah.
Someone redirect. Someone redirect. All right, I'm gonna get some more water and then we can start the show. Okay.
All right. Did you test your audio?
I did.
Does it work?
That's another question entirely.
I think did it work and will it work will be two different questions.
That's
At
very
some point
true.
in time, it has worked. Oh,
It just broke.
I think we're good. All right.
It sounded very reassuring.
Hey, Bungalow Bill, what did you kill? Bungalow Bill. It's working, yeah. Should my playback device? What did you kill? Bungalow Bill. I just harmonized with myself. All right, I'm gonna get some more water.
All right, good. He's gone.
All right, good.
Start the show.
Yep. Here we go. Since we were on the topic of different languages, the other day I was at work, and one of the higher ups in the park, one of my friend also, I speak a little bit of German. My friend also speaks some German. We were speaking German to each other, and she got like we walked off, and she was like actually like scared and concerned that we were speaking full Klingon. Like she was convinced that we learned Klingon so we could talk to each other without anyone else noticing or knowing what we were talking about. And it was like something like super obvious. I said like you have to go. I said like du musst zu Haus gehen, du hast ein Hund, which means you have to go home. You have a dog. And she thought we were
have a
speaking
dog.
Klingon. Yeah, because he just got a new dog. Oh, this is the friend that this is I was at the SPCA with. That puts some things together.
SPCA.
Du musst zu their SPCA gehen.
Ha ha ha.
Ha 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 ha.
I like the monster from the Goonies.
Timmy!
Hey, you guys.
All right. Are we ready?
No, yeah.
Yep.
Well, give me a sec. I gotta down this granola bar real quick.
Couldn't have done that when I went to get a drink and snack.
Now he's just with his RC.
know
I
you want
coulda,
some.
woulda, shoulda, coulda, woulda, woulda, shoulda, woulda.
Apparently, there's a protest right now with
And
Coke,
on deck,
a ginger beer. Bob's drinking tonight with the beer.
Timmy, you said there's a protest tonight on Coke?
No, apparently Coke is. I heard from someone that like Coke is that they're going on like strike or something.
Oh, like a union.
Yeah.
I
And
think it's like,
everyone's
the protesters are on Coke.
No, no. And then everyone's like, everyone's like, don't buy Coca-Cola products because they treat their employees unfairly or something.
that's
You
a
know
hard
what?
thing
You
to
know
do.
a recent tidbit I found out about, which I think is interesting. Pepsi was the first Coca-Cola. I mean, Coca-Cola. Pepsi was the first Coca-Cola. Pepsi was the first cola.
Do you use cocaine?
No, to desegregate their marketing. So they actually were the first to like show black individuals in like a positive light drinking Pepsi products
You're
Yeah.
talking about in the soda industry or just in advertising in general?
in advertising.
Oh, okay.
It was like in like the 20s, 30s.
Well, that's cool. That's
I know
not
it
where I
just
thought you were
sucks.
going
That,
with that.
I told Jam that, and she said it sucks. The Pepsi sucks so bad because I'd switch, but
Pepsi does suck.
Yeah, but Pepsi has a lot of like dirt on their hands too. They did a lot of like really shady stuff in third world countries.
Coke's totally clean.
That's right.
Oh no,
Clean
I'm not
cut
saying
Coke.
I'm not saying Coke's better. There's
You
a
said what,
really
Tim?
good
I said clean cut Coke.
there's a really good documentary called Pepsi Where's My Jet? Which at face value seems pretty weird, but like if you well, it talks about a lot of the like crazy stuff that Pepsi has done, but
By Coke.
it also like their attitude towards
Colombian
stuff was
cocaine.
pretty shitty.
Well, at least in the 30s they were kicking. I'll tell you that.
I mean, out of the two, Pepsi's still better than Coke, like morally.
More, yeah, I was gonna
But
say ethically,
just-
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, the problem is that Pepsi sucks as a soda. Their other drinks taste are
Yeah,
good.
the
Like
other products are okay.
Like I like Dr Pepper. Dr Pepper's good.
that's not Pepsi.
Dr. Pepper, yeah, Dr. Pepper's its own, but Pepsi
I thought it was a
distributes
Pepsi
it.
product.
Dr. Peppy, Dr. Peppy,
Dr Peppy.
Dr. Pepper is owned by RC, which is owned by Keurig.
But I'm pretty sure doesn't Pepsi like distribute or help distribute in certain
It's
places?
it's regional based.
Yeah, and that's what I
In
was saying.
in
Oh.
some places the Pepsi distributor might distribute it. Some places the Coke distributor might distribute it, and in other places it is solely RC's distribution.
You know,
so
we need.
in the United States, it's Keurig, Dr. Pepper. That's who manufactures. In the United Kingdom, Japan, and South Korea, it's Coca-Cola, and in Canada and Oceania, it's Pepsi.
What a crazy
but-
world where you could choose
But even
between-
in I was talking about in the US, local distributors are different. So like the local distributor that covers a certain like city or a certain region of a city might have the Pepsi contract, and I guess it is Keurig Dr. Pepper now, but it was Royal Crown Company. But like the same distributor will carry it in one half of the city for like Pepsi and RC products, and then the other half of the city might be Coke and all of the Keurig products. It's just weird the way it works out. But the stuff that Keurig owns is unreal. So many drinks and like different things are all like
It's crazy to me when you actually go in and look at like parent companies and trace like company parent like actual like you like I went to Moe's, right, and I followed the trail back to their parent company, and their parent company owns like 100 different restaurant chains that like I had
yeah.
no idea. It's like there really is a monopoly and a concentration of wealth on like it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
when
whenever
actually
you
look at
get like almost all the food you buy in supermarkets are all owned by like 4 companies.
it. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But the crazy part is that Moe's is owned by some probably like huge company, but they can't stay open past like noon in Richmond.
That's because the individual franchisee can't fucking get his hours straight. But
That pisses me off.
I'm gonna find it again. So Moe's, let's see who they own by. And it's crazy how they try to like hide it too. Like that they're like, we're gonna create this subsidiary and this subsidiary and this subsidiary and then a subsidiary of
Yeah.
this subsidiary and a subsidiary of this. That way it seems like there's. So their parent is Focus Brand. Focus Brand is owned by Rokar Capital Group. And the Rokar Capital Group owns Anytime Fitness, Batteries Plus Bulbs, The Cheesecake Factory, Culver's, Carl's Jr.'s Hardee's, Auntie Anne's, Carvel Cinnabon, Jamba, McAllister's, Moe's, Mathnasium. What? It's ridiculous. Miller's Ale House, Orange Theory Fitness. Like it's fucking Arby's, Buffalo Wild Wings, Sonic, Jimmy John's, Dunkin' Donuts, Baskin Robbins. It's like what the fuck? It's scary.
It's just funny how like contradictory some of those products are to each other.
I know.
I guess you want to diversify, but still, it's just funny.
It's like fitness and fast food.
Yeah.
And their revenue is $40 billion a year. Oh my god!
Jesus.
And they only have 100 employees on staff at the Roar Capital Group, specifically. So that management private equity firm. Anytime at all. Okay, are we ready?
Hershey has some dirt on them. I mean, I'm sure they do, but I can't think of any.
Yeah, they work with this really scummy company called Intamin.
Yeah.
They work more with a. Not more. They work about the same with a company called B&M too.
Mm. They only have 2 B&Ms.
Yeah, I guess they do.
Even worse is GCI though. Let's be honest.
Well, Bob would agree with you now. If you said that about 2-3 years ago, Bob would disagree with you.
Oh, you might have sparked Pam if she's still here.
That was the goal.
She'd be
I
like,
bet-
"No, Sherry," or whatever.
that
The
guy's
CEO of Gravity GCI.
It's
is.
definitely like Sherry or like some woman's name.
It was Sherry or
Carol or
Carol or Charlie or something like that.
Jill.
Jill.
It was definitely a woman's name though. That was so funny.
Yeah, I know. That's how I always remember it.
All right.
Nope. Hold up. I'm looking at the
Oh
CEO.
my God.
I want to find the name of this motherfucking CEO. Claire.
Claire, that's what it was.
I need to start thinking it's Claire Danes. That's who runs Great Coaster International.
Claire
Wow.
Danes?
Yeah.
What?
The actress.
Yeah.
It's a zero thrill park according to RC.
Yeah. Except for all those thrill coasters. How do you ride Sky Rush and say it's a zero thrill park? Not to mention like many others, but like just Sky Rush alone.
How do you ride Coco Cruiser and be like, yeah, this is a zero thrill park?
How do you ride Laugh Track?
Yeah, laugh track. That's the other one I was thinking of.
Oh, all right. I'm ready now. Oh,
Are you sure?
I think we should do 360 video for our stream. That just popped up for some reason. It just said, "Do you want to try 360 video?" Yes. Sign me up.
Yes.
I don't think that's possible with our webcams, but let's do it.
You want to see my wall, I guess. My 3D printed Disneyland logo.
I don't know if that's possible with
The
the cameras we
top
have,
either.
though. It's not possible with the webcams we have.
It
So I don't
definitely is
know
not.
how it would even
Unless they'll,
integrate
like,
that.
stitch it, maybe I'll like stitch our cameras into like one 360 view. That'd be terrifying.
All right.
Are you ready?
All right.
Are you sure?
No.
That's
I'm
what I
never
figured.
100% about anything, but
Unless it's that all coasters on the weekly poll are going to be steel.
it's just going to be steel coasters. Yeah. That's the only time. That's the only time I'm committed.
All right.
Ready?
3.
3, 2.
Another week and another episode of Coaster Talk Podcast is upon us. This time, episode 203. It is
We're
May
getting there.
7th. Yeah, we're
We're
getting
getting
there.
there. 97 more.
It is May 7th, 2023. I'm James.
I'm Bob.
And I'm Timmy.
And yes, we are getting there. We are surely getting there. You know what's nice about at least my current status of life is college is coming to an end. Summer's starting up. Have Hollywood Nights next month to look forward to. So it's like coming to kind of this impetus now that where I'm like, I just feel soothed. You know, I feel fine. Life is going okay.
Oh,
College
that
is
was,
ending.
that was a good Beatles reference there. I feel fine.
I
like
feel
that.
fine. It was a great one. I knew only you'd cut that, but I'm placated. I'm soothed. I'm mollified now. I feel good about
things
the
are
current
getting
status
better.
of life. Yeah, they're getting better all the time.
That's right.
Now, like in a few months, fast forward to like August when I'm starting school up, I'm gonna be in the opposite boat. I'm gonna be like, oh no. But you know, right now I feel good for the
Yeah,
few months.
just wait until you don't really have summers.
Yeah, exactly.
And life is just existential dread.
I actually just saw, I think it was a video or a clip about that, where it's like you don't really have any moment in time where you get like a section of kind of realization that you're going into the corporate world. All of a sudden, you just get out of college and you start working, and it's like, oh my god, I'm an adult now. I have to be an adult.
Yeah, I mean, it really is like so weird how that happens.
Like there's no transition
wait,
period. It's just like,
no, there's not. It's like,
You could just take a gap year and just not make any money.
and then yeah, you're reach the poverty
Go
line,
homeless.
and
I actually think that like the fact that like the older you get, the faster time goes. I actually think that is because there's like less things to look forward to. Like as a kid, I remember like just
Your imminent death?
absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Well, yeah, but that's I mean that kind of is the point. But like as a kid, it was like you couldn't wait for the weekend. You couldn't wait for summer. There was always something. You couldn't wait for this. You couldn't wait for
you
that.
still
Like
can
me,
wait
it's
for
like
the weekend.
Wouldn't that
I
make
guess.
time go by slower? Because
Yeah.
you're like anticipating it. Like always
But
looking at the clock.
weekends. I don't have a classic 9-to-5 job, but honestly, even when I did, like weekends just weren't the same. It wasn't like, I mean, yeah, you was like, oh, it's finally the weekend. Like you'd have that like relief, but it wasn't like I'm like really looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah, and I've also heard that at least from parents and friends' parents and just older individuals in general that what happens is like it just becomes redundant. Like each week, each holiday, like
yeah,
everything that's
exactly.
supposed to bring you joy and fulfill some sort of gap in your life, it's like, oh, it's Christmas again. Oh, it's my birthday. It's like
Yep.
it doesn't matter anymore. It's like, okay, this is just getting redundant. It doesn't.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
That's exactly it. And that's
I'm
also
starting to reach
why,
that point. The only holiday that really brings me joy anymore is Halloween. Like Christmas, Easter, all these holidays are kind of just arbitrary at this point for me. I don't really feel like I'm like, okay, this is, it's Christmas, yay. Like some people still find that joy, but I just don't. It doesn't capitulate for me.
You know what holiday always brings me joy is May the 4th be with you.
That's when we're recording.
Exactly. Yes.
When we're
Yes.
recording.
Bob is a big Star Wars fan. He cannot contain his excitement right now.
He is indeed.
It's that's why I'm being very quiet.
Hello there. No, but yes, it is May the 4th. This will be released May the 7th. This episode though. But let's get into the news now.
It might not be.
This is
May
a coaster
4th. I mean,
podcast.
somebody could be listening to this on May 9th, May 10th.
They could. All this. The only.
It could be 2060.
The only obsolete truth is that we did record this on May the 4th. So. Yes, but this is a coaster podcast. We are not.
It is.
We are not sleep physicians, so we could stop talking about that. what I just said sleep position. We're not,
I didn't know what you're
Positions.
talking about.
'Cause we're putting everyone to sleep with this discussion.
that's true. That might have been what I was going for. I meant to say, I don't even know how I got to physician. I meant to say like time philosophers. We're talking like the philosophy of time. I don't know how I got to sleep. That's because I think I sent Timmy that video the other day about that sleep
Sleep.
physician.
Yeah,
I guess that's where I pulled that from. That's pretty great. We're not sleep physicians. We're
time philosophers.
we're time philosophers. So let's continue our discussion.
Yes.
No,
What do you guys think about the great Pink Floyd song "Time"?
Off of the greatest album of all time, The Wall.
Yes.
All right, so Universal, they had their earnings call where they released their first quarter results, and within that, embedded within that story, is a little bit more interesting than the actual results themselves. Is that we had obviously last week discussed the possibilities of the Comcast CEO and president being more involved in the parks. And we were hoping that, because I think I brought up that we went to the corporate website for Universal, and there actually is a CEO and president of the Universal Destinations and Experiences, and we're hoping that maybe there would still be some kind of separation there. But it doesn't seem like it. It seems like, based on a quote that we received from the Comcast president, that he said, "So while I'll have to work a little harder, and frankly, I'm energized to do so because I look forward to actually spending time getting closer to NBCU businesses and spending more time deeper in them and with their leaders there." So it seems like he's going to be more involved.
The good thing is, depending on how he means that, he could be kicked out for sexual harassment as well.
How deep he's in there. Yeah. Hopefully not too deep. Oh man. Yes.
It is kind of frightening though. Like it always was shocking to me that Universal Studios is owned by Comcast, and like it's such a great place to go. But like it's really started. Like I've kind of been wondering, like, with these price increases that just recently happened, and that like this in this article, like he talks, they actually talk about how like the theme park revenues like up and like all this stuff. So like it's really popular. It's kind of frustrating to me that it seems like they interpreted that to say, oh, that means we can charge more.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been the difference between Universal and Disney. Is Universal just
they remain steadfast with reasonable prices.
And like this last price increase was a huge jump on the annual passes. I mean, it was a big jump.
They charge over $1,000 for a pass now. For the
premiere, yeah.
I do have to stop and wonder though, if them seeing Disney doing their price hikes, if that like inflicted any type of, okay, we have to as well kind of like
Disney
like
always does price hikes,
respond.
though, so.
But the thing is, yes, they have, and that's what I'm saying. Universal doesn't. So maybe it eventually got to the point where Universal's like, we can't compete if we don't
raise our prices.
Continue to raise our prices according to the Disney standard, which I called last week disflation. So I think that's appropriate coinage.
I don't know though. Like I think that's the thing. I think Universal has remained popular because of access to it.
I agree.
And I think they're kind of limiting that, because now I've really been put in a position where honestly, just a few months ago, I like when I got my annual pass, I was thinking that this was going to be get it for a year and then take a year or two off and then get it again for a year. But just a few months ago, I was thinking, you know what? I might actually just keep this pass, just keep it going. And I was also debating keeping the Premier level. There's no way I'm keeping Premier. There's no way. Like that absolutely cannot afford
it's
that.
Not sustainable.
Yeah.
But like I'm also like at the point where I don't know, maybe I might have to go back to that. But the bigger fear is like this price hike happened before Epic Universe opened. So does that mean they're going to try it again when Epic Universe opens? because everybody was kind of assuming the passes are going to change and it's going to be more costly when Epic opens.
I think we're going to see a complete radical change there. I think it's going to be a completely new system when Epic Universe opens. I think they'll probably do like 2 park passes and 3 park passes and
4 park passes because of
Volcano Bay. So I'm sure there's going to be.
Well, at this point, we don't even know how exactly Epic Universe is going to work because there's been so much talk about the separate lands and stuff like that. Like, is it going to be admission to separate lands? Like how?
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't think that's likely, but
I'm gonna get a 2-land pass.
Yeah. I can't imagine that would be a complete fail. I think I can't imagine that being a success for them. Who's gonna go to an amusement park and purchase each and every separate land that they're going to?
Well, I mean, you kind of think like it'd be like a park hopper thing. Like you can access.
Yes, I get that, but it's not even. You're not going to another park. You're
You're staying in the same park.
land.
Right. I know. I agree with you. But like,
same piece of
that's kind of the thing. Like I've kind of felt like these, like there's some Comcast things that have been happening.
If that happens, at that point, I will come on the show.
Go to Disneyland.
Yeah, and I will admit that Disney is the superior park because there's no way in hell I would ever recognize that innovation, quote unquote, as better than that. Is a terrible change.
There's nothing I want more in the world now.
I'm not going to make that blanket statement because we don't know what the pricing would be.
I don't give a fuck if it's $5 to get into each land. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
But I mean, $5 to get into each land is a lot cheaper than what I'm expecting it to be for all of it. So,
but honestly, just in itself, the hassle to go through to have to purchase an admission to each park every time,
and then imagine having every time you want to change
of the park.
Imagine every time you want to go from like the lost what's it called?
Lost Continent.
Lost Continent, yeah, to like freaking the Jurassic Park to Hogsmeade or something.
Yeah, imagine last ride of the night.
Pass.
Yeah, you want to get last ride of the night in Velocicoaster and you're
every
over
time you want it
in Seuss Landing. Yeah, what are you gonna do? You know?
Well, maybe they'll have Easy Pass Express lanes.
HOV lanes, yeah.
HOV lanes. At least 3 more in your group.
In all honesty, I mean, if you look at it though, the way the Epic Universe design is, there's the central hub, and then there's only a single entrance to each land. It does pan out. I'm not saying your logic isn't concrete, but it doesn't mean that I will like that iteration. But
any
that's the
less.
thing is, I'm not going to say I'm mostly in agreement with you, but I'm not going to make a blanket statement because if the pricing is fair, okay, because
it's just not a pragmatic solution though. Why is that?
It is because the way Orlando works. You think about even when we go down to Orlando, it's like, okay, well, hey, like we have a 2-hour block. Like, can we fill that? Can we fill that with something? You're down there for like a sporting event or something, which happens a lot. You have 2-3 hours free. I don't want to pay to go to Universal Studios for 3 hours. I mean, I'm a pass holder, but excluding that, like I'm not going to buy a ticket to go to Universal Studios for 3 hours. Oh, wait, you mean I can buy a really a ticket that's a quarter of the price just to go to Super Mario World? Sign me up. And I think it actually does make sense in the context of Orlando.
In the context of that example, that is true. But then you have an entire other segment of the population that's trying to go and experience the park and it's full. And they're going to have that hassle of having to buy a pass every time they want to access a land. And that, I think, is going to turn a lot of people off. So you're kind of remedying one issue, but you're creating another entire issue entirely. So,
well, here's the thing. I fully expect Epic Universe to completely use I forget what Universal calls it, but like the Magic Band thing.
Oh, yes.
I fully expect that to be implemented from ground up. And that's what I'm expecting. Like if you get a pass, that's what you get. And you're basically just walking through a turnstile. Nobody's really checking anything. Like you can have pretty free flowing traffic.
Like see what Orlando's turnstiles. That brand new implemented.
So you can jump into Super Mario World if you want.
That's right. Free.
Yeah.
And that's where the true genius in this comes.
But see, that's the thing. That's why, like, I think the fact that they're designing this park from the ground up means that I think they can make a design like that actually work, as long as the pricing is fair. I think that's the most important thing. The pricing has to be fair. And that's where I'm more concerned, because this last price jump on the annual passes is kind of, I don't know. And it's like one of those things. It's almost like, oh, okay, we've got them now. We've got them hooked. Now we just start raising the prices. And like, it's kind of ridiculous that they're not watching Disney, because there's a lot of people that are like done with Disney because of the price hikes and stuff like that. So
You come in Universal, and then Universal raises the prices. So yeah.
right. So like, I'm a little, I am genuinely concerned.
I guess when you look on the map, I'm looking at the Epic Universe map right now. Still kind of looking at understanding that process that you're explaining. The thing is, the Central Hub and Wizarding World are really not. There is no separation there. They're kind of one in each other. So it's the same thing with Universal Monsters. Like they're all kind of interconnected. So like at that point, I guess maybe just Super Nintendo World and How to Train Your Dragon would be the one segmented off. I don't know. I mean,
they could all be segmented off, and then the links between the two could be passes only for those that have the full, all access pass.
Mm-hmm.
The only way to go through. I mean, you look at like Hogwarts Express. You have to have the 2-park pass in order to use that
attraction
route. That route to get to the other land. I mean, yes, it's a different park, but like if you think of it in the concept of a land, you can kind of look at it that way. Like, oh, there's a special gate there, but like you can't use that gate unless you have whatever the all access pass would be.
Okay, I don't know. I just don't. In my opinion, I wouldn't see this as an innovation or a restructuring that that isn't a positive restructuring to me. This is regression, not progression, in my opinion. But I can understand
I don't disagree with your viewpoint, because I think that there is a very it's probably a higher likelihood than I want to admit that it's going to be unfair.
Yeah.
But the reality is, I think like this is something that if you did in any other part of the nation, I think would be absolutely stupid. But I think it makes total sense in Orlando. And I think the fact that they're building the park ground up, this is, built into the whole mindset. If that's what they're doing, like it could be very painless. But yeah, I'm more concerned about the cost thing. I think that whatever method, like however they're setting this up, like the park is being built that way. So I don't think it's going to be really painful in that regard. The pricing is what concerns me. That's my biggest concern.
That's understandable.
Yeah.
That really is the major factor in it too. Yeah, just definitely. But it also comes into like, even if when they initially open up this park, if the pricing is fair, there's going to be obviously room to, just like they're doing now, hike up the prices. So even if we see an initial fairness and equity in this, then it has a really easy path to becoming unfair really quickly. Which, of course, you could say if they just had a regular standard pass, all access pass, it'd be the same way. But I don't know. I feel like it's a lot more easily. It's a lot more subtle when it's like all these different lands split up. You can raise like, just by a few dollars here, a few dollars there, a few dollars here, a few dollars there, and there's no like notice like, oh wow, Super Nintendo World went up $10. Nobody will notice that. When you raise the prices with a full access pass, you can notice it a lot more and catch it a lot more easily. So there's also kind of that aspect I'm worrying about. So I don't know, but
yeah, I agree. And it's believe me, it's not that I disagree with you. Because I think I definitely share your fear. I just think the whole congestion and worry about moving from land to land, I'm not really worried about that, because it's a ground up park. If they were trying to adapt an existing park, I think that would be a nightmare. But they can build this from the ground up that way, and I think it's
creative liberty to
right. And I think it's fully. I think the entire park is going to be built around the NFC bands.
Yeah.
I just like that's just the way it's going to go. Because I think isn't Nintendo World that way
Yes,
now.
the one out in Hollywood is, yeah.
Yeah. So
And
I
in
think
Japan.
all of Epic Universe is going to be built on that. And then I think we'll also start seeing that at Islands of Adventure and studios as well. They'll
I agree. I
backfill.
definitely don't think that's a unpopular opinion. I think that's something that we're definitely going to start see Universal roll out here in the future. What I can't say I'm shocked to see either is the Florida Transportation Board countersuing Disney. I couldn't say I'm shocked by that one either.
Well, we actually knew this was going to happen, but we knew they were going to countersue, but we didn't know
Yeah.
exactly what. They're
exactly
actually
what they're going to do. Yeah.
this federal lawsuit is basically what is it? I think it was 6 months. They're basically saying that every decision that Reedy Creek made in the last 6 months or whatever that span is now invalidated automatically. I don't what are laws anymore?
I know, right? They're up to interpretation of whoever is opposed to them. Like,
Yeah, this is getting ridiculous. I mean, you go back a decade, 2 decades, like we've started seeing this whole executive order thing of like, oh, president signs this executive order,
yeah,
the other
as
party
opposed to
takes
having to go
over
through
and
Congress.
undoes the executive order. It's like this. There's a reason why executive orders aren't supposed to
Be utilized in that.
Yeah,
fashion.
it's for extreme. But this is
Yeah.
this is where
it's
that
become a tool to bypass Congress,
right,
Which is,
and this is the growth of that attitude to the extreme. Like, it's ridiculous.
yeah, for sure. It's upsetting to see. I mean, this onslaught of news from Disney and DeSantis is really
It's
it's so upsetting because it's like, oh, can we not just? I mean, like simple things like Disney. As much as I don't like Disney as a company, like the thing is, DeSantis isn't targeting the actual issues with Disney here. You know, that's really the issue. That's what's upsetting about this to me. Is like Disney has so many facets of them that are immoral and unethical, but this is not it. Them speaking out about the "Don't Say Gay" bill and then creating this whole political stunt show on the side here is not the issue with Disney. Reedy Creek wasn't the issue with Disney. It's like tackle the issues here. Tackle the mismanagement, the unfair labor. That's
the
the
biggest
thing.
issue is that the drop tower is just so darn good.
Reedy Creek wasn't even an issue with the state government. So
Yeah, yeah. My thing is, there's so many vices with Disney, but these are actually the virtues of Disney. I feel like some of the things they're targeting here are the virtues of Disney. A company having free speech is a virtue. They should be able to speak out and any fashion facet they want, and they should be able to communicate that they don't agree with a bill or legislation being passed. Like that's fair. That's fine. That's open grounds, and it's ridiculous that there's this retaliation. That's what's upsetting about this whole story, really, this ongoing story. And I find it ironic that it's coming from a GOP governor. Still, that's
right.
Just
That's the craziest thing about it is like it's completely against what they say they stand for. I mean,
And
there's been a lot of that stuff, but this is almost like a black and white thing. Like it's like literally like how do you argue?
The thing is, other Republicans see it. Like other Republicans are like,
Right,
"What are you
yeah.
doing?" It's not even like the party is like, "Yes, steadfast with DeSantis. This is the right move." You know, most of them are like, "What the hell are you doing with our party? You're making us look like we're anti-business." Like, I mean, what? Yeah, it's ridiculous. We're supposed to be the corporate oligarchs here. What are you doing?
Right. And here DeSantis is killing a corporation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Which I mean that's kind of the thing that's like there's in the back of my mind I'm like what it's got to be an extreme point, but at what point does Disney say fuck it, we're out?
Yeah, I just can't imagine
Move what
that.
we can
just
out of
coming.
Florida. I know, but like I mean there's got to be a point where like they've just had enough. Like
There has to be, but I feel like it's really extreme.
I mean it is because it's an
Yeah.
extreme thing.
What
You can't
happens
just,
is
like,
that DeSantis, I think, wins these lawsuits and gains control. Maybe at that point they consider, or maybe they just stop investing heavily in Disney World and move most of their investments back to Disneyland, which Timmy is probably going to be loving. For just, he's gonna say, DeSantis, I love that man.
I love that man. DeSantis for president.
Yeah, voting for DeSantis. He's gonna be
He's gonna ruin Disneyland too.
Right. Well, yeah. Then we'll all be moving to Canada.
Yeah.
Be like, yep, better Canada
moving to
of
Mexico for
DeSantis
Six
in the
Flags Mexico.
US. Well, it's kind of funny. I actually just read an article about Disney has been like reaching out to people in the community around Disneyland with a Disney Forward project, which is like talking about like expansions that they've been planning at Disneyland. Which kind of makes me, apparently they've been like things that have been talked about for a while, but from what I was reading, and I don't know the link or where I read it, so take this with a grain of salt, but basically it seems like they're kind of ramping that up. So, you know, that's going to hurt. It's going to hurt Florida if Disney just says, okay, we're just going to leave Disney World behind. Yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's an interesting thing. And like, it's kind of there's such a, I don't know. I think there's such a, like, most of the nation is watching Florida. And I think well, yeah, but I think there's got to be a good percentage of people that are like, we're not going to that state. Like, we're not taking our tourism dollars there. And that, I mean,
I don't know. I think you underestimate Disney adults, though.
I mean, but not everybody is a Disney adult.
Yeah, I guess, but a lot of them are.
And it's not even just Disney. It's also people that are just going to Orlando for all the other various things.
I don't know. I feel like it's become such a tourism hub that it's almost impossible to revert that course of action. Like, it's just there's too much that goes on in Orlando.
Oh
There
yeah,
is,
that was
but
the case. Then why is Velocicoaster not been over 30 minutes all week for a wait?
It's because DeSantis.
It's already happened. Yeah.
DeSantis
Keep
is
an eye on those lines.
Or it's because they reverted back to their old operational standards and
No.
I'm not. Believe me, I'm
Impossible.
not saying that's a very large majority right now. I'm just saying that it is there, and the more extreme that they get, the more I could see more and more of that occurring.
Yes.
I think the saving grace is people know that or like Orlando, Osceola, Orange, like that area is kind of against DeSantis as a whole. So I think that I know that's like a saving grace for me. I'm like, well, I don't want to support Florida, but I'm okay supporting Orlando. You know, it's kind of like a weird situation, but you know, it's still like it's still one of those things. I've actually heard people talk I hate spending money in Florida. I don't know. It's a mess.
There's also people that hate spending money in California. So, you know, like,
No, there are.
there's,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
I don't know. It's like
I generally
flip-flops.
just hate spending money in general.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
budgeting.
there's always been that, but this is just an extreme thing. This is the thing where, like you were saying, like this is kind of against the own, you know, his own party in a sense.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
And yes, there's a lot of people standing behind DeSantis, but there's also a lot of people in the GOP that are like, this is
Timmy is a partisan hack
ridiculous.
because he knows it's going to benefit Disneyland.
Right.
You partisan hack.
I mean, even Trump called him out.
I was gonna say even Trump was one of them.
But the thing is also that can be attributed to the fact that he's supposed to run and Trump's trying to get the upper
Yeah.
hand
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's all
I
just,
don't
it's
know.
just politics.
But let's get away from DeSantis's litigation, his litigious ways, and let's talk about his legislative recourse here now. So not only is that countersue coming from the Florida Tourism Board, but also DeSantis is expected to sign a bill that would void Walt Disney World's development agreement with the special district overseeing the theme parks. So
This is kind of a link, the same thing. I don't know how we ended up with this. There was another link that I was reading about the monorail.
the monorail legislation.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all like, it seemed like Florida's DOT was like starting to gear up, but I don't know what.
The ability to go in and audit.
Yeah, to take over the monorail, basically. But there was a quote in it. I don't know why. I think what happened is I pasted the wrong link. There was a quote in it that I don't remember if it was DeSantis's team or if it was the Florida Department of Transportation or whatever, but they were talking about the monorail being unsafe. And the reason why their smoking gun was an accident that occurred in 2009. That was their smoking gun.
On the monorail, yes. Mhm.
They need to look at if that they're so worried about the monorail, they should look at the accidents that keep happening on the gondolas where they keep freaking bumping into each other.
Yeah.
The monorails are not the problem.
That's actually very true.
And it's weird that they're targeting transportation. Like, why not the whole sphere? They could easily just ask for access to all the rides. And it's weird that they're like specifically mentioning transit.
I think
Between
it's
the
because
parks.
because if they were to do just rides, then that would also mean that they have to include Universal, and then they can't target Disney that way because Disney, Universal,
Yeah, has
all they have really is the Hogwarts Express if you look at it that way. But they can target Disney if they say the monorail because that travels like, all over, like not just like through like
two
small-
contiguous counties. Was it? I think that's what they
right.
were quoted as saying. We can really quickly, I guess,
It was
while
a
Bob's
special
searching.
district
Bob
in
found it.
bordering two contiguous counties.
Okay, special district. Yeah. Real quick while Bob's performing some reconnaissance. Also passed through the Florida legislature was Senate Bill 902, which was a new safety measure implemented in honor of Tyree Sampson, the 14-year-old that passed away on the Orlando freefall. And then also a bill was passed, which is a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
Senate Bill 904. It'll make records surrounding active amusement ride investigations no longer accessible to the public. I don't know if I like that.
I don't.
I know.
I don't like that at all.
I think that's a little
That's really odd.
that's a little
that they-
dangerous
You know why they're doing this? Is because they're about to be like, oh my god, look at all this stuff that's wrong with
with
the
Disney. yeah.
monorail, and then they'll be like, oh well, actually you can't look at it because it's all under investigation.
But it's barred from the public. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that's problematic. Yeah, that is a problematic bill. Hopefully that does not
Surely
pass.
DeSantis won't sign that, right?
I mean, it is logical, so. I mean, it's illogical, so logically he'll sign it.
That's terrible.
It is.
That's
I don't
awful.
understand. Why is it like? Why do we have to take one step forward and one step back? Why?
It's like one step forward and 10 steps back.
But see, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Like, there's a part of me that's like, the kind of think this is kind of a thing that there's always like this whole like, okay, here's what's happening that we want in the headline. That's going to be the smokescreen.
And we want to go tamper with this,
right?
Not
and
let
I think
the public...
that's what's going on. It's like, oh, look, we can do this Tyree Simpson bill, and everybody be all excited about that. But then we're also going to say like, oh, we're doing two bills. We're not going to talk about this other amusement park bill that basically gives cover for the stupidity that's going on in DeSantis versus Disney.
But the thing is also, I mean, that's what legislators are notorious for, is hiding things even within the same bill. So it's 100%. Yeah, like
I'm like that's what's going on. But the whole thing is like it's almost like the timing is like, oh yeah, this will actually give us like.
Honestly,
you
what
kind of
is...
made the joke of like, oh yeah, here's how bad the monorail is. Oh no, you can't see because the monorail is safe. But their narrative is that it's not. So they don't want the public to be able to look behind the curtain and see how badly they're lying about it.
Yeah.
It's just like this is just getting ridiculous.
There's a Reagan quote that, I'm not endorsing Reagan, but because I know he's also a problematic politician, but there's a great quote from Reagan that's, "Hi, I'm from the government and I'm here to help." And this is like, "Hi, I'm from the government and I'm here to tell you the truth about the Disney monorail that you can't have access to." It's almost like that same
right. Yeah, exactly.
mindset. Like never trust somebody from the government telling you they're telling you the truth if they're not allowing you to see the full scope of what it is that they're telling you the truth about. If they can't point to you, hey, this is why it's true and this is what's happening, then they're clearly trying to hide something. And that's definitely seeming like what this could be pointing towards.
That was one thing. There was, of all things, it was a driver that was delivering a package to me, hands the package out the window and starts talking to me about politics, and actually gets out of his car and carries on this conversation. And we kind of got into an argument, and I'm not gonna say the politicians that were brought up, but he was clearly for a politician, right?
Yes.
Not a politician that I agreed with, but he had this manila folder stuffed full of all of these articles, and he starts flipping through some of them, and they're like, here's why you should vote for him. Every single thing to get me to vote for his candidate was about the other candidate and why they were bad. And I, like, at one point I grabbed the folder out of his hand and I was like, which one of these articles, which one of these tells me why your candidate is good? He couldn't answer. He could not. He had no response. Not a single thing in that manila folder said why his candidate was the best. Like, but that's what we're turning into this. Like, let's not ask questions. It's like, this is
It's whataboutism. It's like, what about this? What about that? What about here? What about X?
Like,
what about Y?
Yeah, this is horrible. We have to stop that. Like, ignore the badness that I am doing, but like, it's
this is bad. What about this guy? He did this. It's like, what? That's not the. He's bad too. We condone him too, but that doesn't, you know.
Which I think is ironic that we're so polarized in this nation, because everybody sucks.
Yeah.
Like, that's all there. Everybody sucks. Why do we hate each other?
Humans,
because, like,
yeah, humans as a species are pretty terrible.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Universally, that's a universal truth. I'm terrible. Bob's terrible. Timmy's terrible. You know, it's we suck, so it's okay. You know, to acknowledge that, but one person doesn't suck any less because they're red or blue. I agree with that sentiment.
So we'll go back to the.
Yeah.
I did find a link in the monorail, and here's the quote.
Okay.
There was an incident in 2009 where a death occurred, but FDOT is looking at inspecting this so we know what issues do arise. What this is important for is we don't know what we don't know right now.
Ah, yes, a big brain
2009.
individual.
You can't find anything newer that, like, if you have to go back more than a decade to find something bad, maybe it's not so bad.
Maybe you don't know what you don't know now.
Maybe it doesn't matter that you don't know what you don't know.
I'm gonna start using that quote. I don't know what I don't know now.
Yeah, every time
Later, ask me again later, and I might know.
that's gonna be like my just like excuse, like throw somebody completely off the topic. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
right.
getting called out for something. I'm like, well, I don't know what I don't know now.
I can't help not knowing what I don't know.
Do you know what? Do you know?
Do you know the know that I know that you know? Oh man,
It's like I do get the argument of, like, oh well, Disney inspecting their own stuff is kind of counterintuitive, and
yeah.
honestly, that's something that I do kind of agree with. But at the
I'm
same
okay
time,
with that authority shifting. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, Disney and Universal have had, like, the least number of accidents that, like, maybe not the least, but, like, they are relatively regarded as the safest parks you can go to because they're so carefully watched.
Yeah.
Like, they are the few parks where an accident happens and it hurts them immediately. So I'm not saying that, oh, yeah, everything should stay exactly as it is. But at the same time, it's not as bad of a problem as they're making it out to be. Now, I think for smaller amusement parks, that's kind of a problem. You need to have an external.
Yeah, there needs to be regulation. For sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, like, it's not like they're making this out to be that, oh well, Disney's just not like, no,
It's in Disney's and Universal's best interest, I think, is what you're saying, to maintain these proceedings
The highest safe, like,
and the
safety
safety
and
standards
more
and
so-
proceedings, for sure.
and
Yes,
more so than any other park in this nation.
for sure. Yeah, I think that's fair. And,
Like, I
like
would
you
not
said,
trust
they
Cedar
have the
Fair.
most scrutiny on their hands.
Right. Because
Right,
you know, two like ricochet cars at Carowinds bump into each other, and like it's on Reddit for like a day, and like people laugh at it. Like somebody trips and falls at Disneyland, scrapes an elbow, like it's on the national news, and like
Yeah.
it's highlighted everywhere. So it's like,
Well,
Which is due in
and
part to sensationalism, but
yeah.
because of the power of Inside the Magic, nobody actually had to trip and fall to actually see a report
no,
about it.
somebody trips and falls, and Inside the Magic reports that there's been 10 deaths at the park.
Actually, yes.
And then they somehow in the article talked their way out of that happening and then into only somebody tripping and falling.
I don't know why you should subscribe to their newsletter.
Yeah. So let's hop out of the governmental proceedings and let's hop back into the parks. Right, let's get into the parks. Good news for other Orlando residents, people traveling to Orlando, outside of the Disney and DeSantis terrible news. May 27th, past members will be able to ride the Surf Coaster Pop Line at SeaWorld Orlando.
No, they'll be able to wait. No, they'll be able to ride it May 11th.
I'm tripping. May 12th. May 12th. Excuse me.
Everybody
May
can ride it
27th
May
is the grand
27th.
opening. May 12th is the pass holder opening. Sorry. Excuse
Yes.
me.
And in true SeaWorld fashion, the 12th to the 15th is for platinum only. The 18th to the 20th is for platinum and gold only. 21st to 23rd is platinum, gold, and silver only. 24th and 25th is platinum, gold, silver, and bronze only. 26th is all members and fun card holders.
At the very bottom, you actually don't get to ride until after it opens to the public. Is platinum from out of state.
Yeah.
Wait, seriously?
No, I just made that up.
That's
Probably.
going to be the
That shows how
case,
messed
though.
it- Yeah, probably.
Well, I mean, seriously.
I will report back. Actually, next week I will
There's a
be.
reason why I believed you. let's put
Next
that
week
out
I'll be
there.
attending. I'm going to try to attend the Dark Coaster opening for pass holder, the pass holder ERT. If that fails, I'm coming back and reporting to you guys, so we'll know if that's actually the case. I'm going to be very disappointed if it is true, but we'll see. Because didn't they do that for Pantheon? I'm pretty sure that was the threat, is that they weren't allowing out-of-state platinum members into the Iron Gwazi
Oh, yeah.
Pantheon.
And it's
So we'll
only
see how
for,
it pans
it's only
out.
for one ride.
Yeah, and that
That's
actually
right.
ended up tweaking, but thankfully, but
No
yeah,
rerides.
I don't know how the out-of-state. I don't know how the out-of-state one panned out, so I want to see how that works out for me next
Oh,
weekend.
that's
We'll
right.
see.
You have an Orlando pass, don't you?
Yeah, I got the Florida pass for Tampa and SeaWorld. Yeah, because I go down there so much more, and I need free tickets when I'm down there. When I'm in Williamsburg, most of the people that are in this area, in this vicinity, have a ticket to Busch Gardens Williamsburg. So, but it's not the same when I go down to Tampa or Orlando.
And this,
I'm
folks, is why I
looking-
haven't been to SeaWorld.
And
No, actually, I had a friend that was going to take me to try to ride Pantheon, and then I got sick. Shucks, Daniel was.
oh, really?
I was pit. Yeah, that was the end of last year, but yeah, I was like so excited, and then I got sick. Oh, so pissed. But whatever day that was, if you were there that day to ride Pantheon, you can thank me for being sick, because had I shown up, Pantheon would have been down. It's like a
That's true.
guaranteed thing.
Either that or Bob would have gotten into it with the SeaWorld executives that were standing
Yes.
beside the ride. So either way, the ride probably would have stopped operating for a minute.
It's possible.
Another ride opening that it's not as definite is the All American Triple Loop. That's coming to Indiana Beach. So far, we only have the time frame of summer 2023. So
the name of the coaster has changed.
Yeah, it
It
has.
is now the All American Triple Loop. And
Yes.
I do not want to join YouTube TV. Shut up.
Really, the video that we linked to really only showcases the logo that they're going to be utilizing for this ride. So outside of that,
The description says that the announcement for the opening day is coming soon, though.
yes.
The description also says this is the coaster you've been waiting for to punch that much needed roller coaster credit. So
I'm not sure
Indiana
what that
Beach is-
means, but
I don't know, but I cringed a little when I heard it.
yeah, that is a terrible description there. But I'm excited nonetheless. I do need to get to Indiana Beach. Hopefully, maybe if Hollywood Nights that opens, maybe we played a little drive up. I don't know. Probably not going to be able to do that because it's such a far drive from Holiday World. But
I'm just very happy that the All American Triple Loop is operated in 3 different countries.
it has. You're not wrong there. And
All
another
not being-
announcement. We're
all
getting a
of
lot
them
of
not
this. This is announcement season for
It
sure.
is.
That has ensued for the theme parks here.
I'm not holding any breath for this.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure either. The big news coming from Silver Dollar City will be announced Friday, May 5th. So we don't know what it is necessarily, but we
But
do
you
know
guys
there's an
do.
announcement.
But you guys do. You guys listening on the podcast, you already know.
Yeah, you do.
You already know that they've finally captured one of the sharks.
Yeah, could you guys just tell us already? I don't know what I don't know.
I don't know what I don't know.
This could be anything. This could be bad, but this could be good. It's hard to
They're
say.
closing Fire in the Hole again.
Likely fire in the whole news, I imagine. But we'll see.
I
don't know. They
man.
haven't really. They really haven't been hyping it up. If it is like normally, there's this huge campaign behind it. But
yeah, dude, they hype up everything. I think the last 3 or 4 times that Silver Dollar City has made a major announcement, quote unquote,
it was like
nothing. It's
wasn't
been
it
stupid. It's
one time it was like the Globetrotters were coming back to their
that was one of
like,
them. Oh my god.
I was like, how is this framed as a big announcement?
Big news! They're extending their Halloween sale.
Yeah. The ticket sales are starting earlier than anticipated. I don't know.
Something to note in this though is that the I in big is a 1, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Which means it's going to be the new #1 roller coaster at Silver Dollar City.
That's right. They're RMCing Outlaw Rough.
Outlaw Rough.
They're announcing that
RMCing the big one.
No, Mystic Falls. Mystic Falls was voted #1 by USA Today.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Mystic Falls. Oh,
is that what it's called? Mystic Falls?
Mystic River Falls. Yeah.
Mystic River. Yeah.
I honestly, my mind went to Mystic Falls, Virginia, which is where the Vampire Diaries TV show takes place, which is terrible.
Oh my gosh.
I hate that that's where my mind went. So much that you guys can't even comprehend. I honestly
see this right here is why I'm glad that I am single.
Oh my lord. I wish I could dissect my brain and take out the compartment that actually thought about that.
The Vampire Diaries section of your brain.
The neuron that generated that thought. I want it to be removed. But moving on. Another announcement. This one not going well with the audience.
The public.
BGW fans reported this, but it was on the Facebook page for Busch Gardens, Virginia. Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Wow, Busch Gardens, Virginia. Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. They announced they're going cashless, and the Facebook user base is not
not happy.
Satisfied with that announcement. As far as calling it socialism at one point, they go as far as calling it socialism, which is truly fantastic.
Why is everything socialism?
That's what I said, and I even made it. I think I made a pretty good comment here. I said, "Man, I didn't even think about it, but Holiday World must be the most socialist park on the planet because they got free sunscreen and free soda." What? I mean, do all their associates get paid the same? I mean, oh my god, that must be awful.
Well, the guy that called it socialism, his exact comment was socialism or Bible prophecy, you decide.
Yeah.
In the Bible, it does talk about Busch Gardens going cashless, so I'm surprised we did not see this coming sooner.
And then on the 7th day, God said, "Let there be no cash at Busch Gardens, Williamsburg."
Yes. Only.
I know where that argument's coming from, and it's kind of ridiculous because it's the whole no one can buy or sell unless they receive the mark of the beast.
Yes.
But is that guy honestly telling me that he doesn't use credit cards now?
Oh no, yeah, probably because somebody made that argument too. Somebody made the whole issue is that this is a Democrat liberal agenda to make people get credit cards and debit cards so they can track you and know where you're at.
Yeah, see, that brings me on to one of these other comments. It says big government just wants to know everything about you. Dems want to control you, and then this person said it's a private business, dumb, and he said sure. We all know Busch Gardens is a public.
That's the thing. Yes, marketing wants to track you. When you use your credit card, you're being tracked. Yes, you are.
And yes, your data is being sold.
But
it
it's
isn't-
not. It's not
not
a political
partisan.
thing.
It's not
a-
partisan.
It's corporate. It's a free market thing. The illusion of the free market that we have, because businesses keep doing this and they keep telling Congress, "Hey, don't vote for strong privacy laws." But it's like, and it's both. It's literally both sides of the aisle. Like, this is like, what? How is this a Democratic or Republican thing? It is a money thing. It is corporate greed, is what it is. It's unreal. I just don't understand these arguments. They just don't make sense.
Yeah, I just found the comment. It's all good until we're completely cashless and they can track every single transaction you ever make. That's their end game. Complete control.
But the thing is like Google already.
I'm sorry, who doesn't have a bank account? I mean, what? How do you survive in this world without a I mean, that is a
people that were using Silicon Valley Bank may not right now.
But those are all corporate Americans. Those are like the big dogs. Like this is like the everyday people. Like that's the thing.
It's like it's this whole argument of we want to support corporate America. I don't have a bank account. Like, what side are you on? what?
I know these are. I don't understand. I want to sit down with these people and talk with them. I mean, how do you not have a bank account, a savings, checking, saving? I mean, it's like a basic function you have to have. I mean, where are you storing your cash?
Underneath the mattress.
Underneath the mattress? Yeah. What? In a vault? I mean,
well, why is it even cash? Like,
do you have a Swedish bank account? I mean, what is going on here? I mean,
but the government can change the way the cash. Like, I mean, you want to go all in here? Why do you have cash?
Yeah, I just said Swedish. Swiss? Do you have a Swiss bank account? Like, what do you? I mean, what's going on here? I don't know.
Starbucks gift cards, man. That's where it's at.
That's right. Those depreciate in value over time.
There was literally somebody from Wall Street that actually made that argument that the best investment right now is in Starbucks gift cards. Like, and he wasn't joking either. It's unreal.
I can follow that train of thought.
I mean, there's more of a value linked to that gift card than there is to an American dollar. So, man, we are way off topic this show.
Fiat currency, we love it. We love it.
Yes.
Why did we
know
get
that
off the Bretton Woods
frappuccinos are
system?
more important than paper?
That is really the interesting thing about it, though. And then we'll go on to we're moving into more corporate news here. But the currency is an illusion. Fiat currency is an illusion, and I love that.
That's the funny thing.
Oh, that's what makes it so exciting.
I was seriously like the whole Bitcoin thing. I initially started thinking like this is such a scam. And then when I actually was like, all right, there must be something to this. Let me learn about it. And what I learned was that Bitcoin is a scam in the same way that the US dollar is a scam.
Most countries' currencies are not backed by anything. Yeah, that's
what blew my mind.
Trust on
like,
it.
And have you seen from in the early 1900s up until 1971 when the Bretton Woods system was eradicated and we moved away from it, so that the feds could just start printing as much money as they wanted. The inflation was so steady and it was so small, and the rates just skyrocketed after that. It's ridiculous how much we've depreciated our own currency by doing something that we thought we were trying to. It's like ridiculous. It's so counterintuitive to think that would end up hurting us, but it's.
It is. It's ridiculous, and I love the people that are like, "Oh, well, why are you investing in Bitcoin? Like, you should just keep cash." Like, you don't know what you're saying. You clearly don't know what you're saying.
Well, you should. It's a domestic. You have to have domestic currency, and I'm like, what are you talking? International trade, globalization is a real thing. It is happening. We have the SWIFT network. Like our currencies in itself are just tools to be converted into other currencies. So the argument that like you have to have a domestic currency also is flawed in the modern day as well. Really, you do not need to have a domestic currency. Bitcoin can exist just like, we have the SWIFT network and we transition money back and forth between countries all the time.
The thing
that doesn't matter.
No, there's no central point that controls Bitcoin itself.
Yeah.
As long as you don't do the 51% thing, which I'm not, that's a whole different podcast. That's a whole different podcast. But
Hold up, yeah.
reality is it's a truly democratic platform that, you know, there's no Fed to step in and like change the value. It just
Wait a
is what it
second.
is.
We need these banks.
You mean all the ones that are collapsing right now? We need those. That's good.
Free market, except they get to not be subset to that free market.
Exactly. It's free market for everybody but you.
But the rich.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way it boils down to. Trickle down economics.
This is the part of the show, I think, where we say we are not financial advisors, or we are not legally allowed to give financial advice.
We aren't allowed to
All
give any
statements
advice.
from the hosts are those of the hosts and not of the companies that they represent.
Represents, yes.
And furthermore, Coaster Talk podcast is purely for entertainment purposes only.
And remember, we're awful people, so don't take our advice.
And lastly, we do not know what we don't know.
As we learned in episode 200, we're morons.
We're going to listen back to this episode and go,
you'll learn more about Timmy. You'll learn more about Timmy in the next 100 episodes. But James and I, you clearly know we're morons.
When Timmy makes his 2 or 3 comments an episode, we'll finally divulge the enigma that is Timmy. All right, so let's stay with the rich and go over to the Cedar Fair Company. They actually had a poor earnings call just not too long ago, where they actually announced, despite being open longer, because they had now 161 operational days versus the 130 operational days from 2022, the first quarter of 2022, they had a decrease in revenue and in attendance of guests. How upsetting can that be? I mean, to the corporate overlords there.
But the good news is, because of the impact of the bad weather,
the climate,
that sets them up to be more profitable in the next quarter.
The bad climate is going to help us the next time.
And the crazy part is that the bad climate is in California, of all places.
And the crazy part is that you can analytically and empirically observe climate before you decide to open up parks more than they were already open. So this is something that you could have already conducted an experiment on and decided, hey, the bad climate isn't going to help us at all. It's actually going to hurt us. This is literally... Don't they have R&D? Isn't that literally what they're supposed to do in these R&D departments?
So supposedly, or they're stating here that, this is a direct quote, during the first quarter, rainy and cool weather impacted our California parks, resulting in a slower start to the season. That's what it is.
But the thing is, they also, I'm sure they would also, if asked, respond to King's Dominion, for example, being open and say, oh, it was too cold.
And Carowinds, yeah.
Yeah, it's too cold. What the hell? It's always cold. We're not in Florida. We're not in California. It's going to be cold. Like, you should know that.
I think that, I don't know.
I know. That's bullshit. That's what I say.
I think they, I think they are making the right move to start doing that limited year-round operation. But I don't think they should expect any return for a couple years at least on it. Because people aren't used to it, and you kind of just have to figure out how to make that work for you.
I agree.
We should save this discussion.
Yes, we should actually, because I was about to start going into it quite a bit. But let's not get off course. Let's finish it off with one last piece of news from Cedar Fair as well. Again, just a quick little update from California's Great America. We got a quick 15-second YouTube short video here that showcases their new NorCal County Fair section of the park, which really doesn't seem like much of a retheme. It's like a little dead end here, but
I think the bigger thing that's going on right now is people are losing their minds. Like, oh my God, why are they installing a new ride in a park that's going to close?
Revenue? They still want to increase revenue?
First of all, 10 years is a long time. Even 5 years is a decent enough time.
And why not put some collateral in here just in case you end up having to like, I know there was that movement with Sorry.
I think the big thing is the biggest thing of all is we don't know that it's going to close in 10 years. That is not a definitive.
Yeah.
It's just not like nothing has ever said that it's definitively going to close there. And with the way the local government has been responding,
exactly. That's what I was going to say.
It might just make more sense for Prologis to keep renting to Cedar Fair.
Exactly. So that's exactly what I was going to say. The logic is that there's fluctuations in things like this, especially when you have such a big time frame as 10 years. And why not? These small little incremental changes aren't hurting anybody. And I'm sure they're going to improve their revenue overall. And even if it doesn't, this is a small change. This isn't them. If they install the new hypercoaster, now that might be like, okay, that could show that they're actually interested in maintaining the property past the 10 years. Because that is a large investment that would take a while to accumulate a return on investment.
I think that would depend on what type. If it was terrain, absolutely. But if it was like parking lot coaster,
maybe, yeah,
maybe not.
Maybe, but the caliber also, I think, of the investment matters. So, like looking at this does not show one way or the other whether or not they're considering maintaining the property or
right, yeah,
or leaving and exiting the property. But it does show, like you said, that it's almost like collateral, just in case we do end up having to maintain this property or end up deciding that it's the best course of action. We have installed new rides and new attractions and have kept our park up. So I don't think it's at all illogical, and I don't understand why there's this huge like gasp, like what? How are they? What? How is this logical? How is this a great business move? It is a great business move. It makes total sense.
Yes. Yeah, I don't understand the confusion. I mean, I guess maybe when you're 12 and on Reddit, maybe it doesn't make sense. I don't know. It's
apparently you need a business degree apparently to guess this one here.
But if only we knew someone who wanted to be business analyst.
I don't have a business degree, so
yeah, I don't know. You own your own business though, to be fair, so you kind of understand the ins and outs of it.
Yeah, barely.
All right. Well, when we come back, we are actually going to segment back into the discussion we were having a little bit there with year-round operation. Does it hurt? Does it help? Obviously, we're going to kind of get into the longevity of it. Bob seems to think there might be some benefit in the longevity. So that discussion, regardless, is going to happen in the second half of the show right after we take this break.
That was a long first half.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
It's aight.
Hold on loosely.
Hang on, Sloopy. That's totally screwed that up.
Hello?
Yes.
Hey. I don't care really. It's okay. It's up to you. I'm going to let the executive chef make that decision. Okay. Love you too. Bye. Hey, bungo.
No, Jalen's not making dinner anymore.
She is. She's just changing the noodle type.
No.
From like the eggshell noodles to like spaghetti noodles.
What is this one? Wait, what? I know that if you have a mortgage through your bank and you look at it and void your mortgage, and you will no longer owe the bank anything and you will own your house.
What?
That is an intellectual individual right there.
It's one of the things on the BGW fans Twitter.
Wait, hold up. Oh, it's a shame I don't have some kind of. Hey, Bungalow Bill.
I don't know what the hell is going on with that guy.
The coin goes cashless. Like, I mean, if a bank goes cashless, like that, you can call out your mortgage and own your house.
Somebody to teach this man what a run on sentences.
Did you notice that? Like,
how can a bank go cashless?
Right. Did you notice like half of these comments have vaccine free?
Yes. Profile pictures.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Now the government, one of the comments says, "Oh no! Now the government will know I bought a Busch Gardens pin at Busch Gardens. We are doomed."
Why can they not all speak English properly? Like, they know it's over. Close the doors. This their ending.
Right, yeah, no,
I know.
They're bots.
I hope they're not, because you know what's funny is that these are probably the same people that are like, these people come to our country and can't speak our language, and then they can't even speak English the correct
I
way.
can't speak our language either.
The irony in that is honestly too great, so I hope they're not, boss.
Jeez. I like that. It's a private business, dum dum. It's still oddly kind of.
Sure.
Sure it is. Oh, do you want to let me know when they went public?
You
I
didn't know
guess
Busch
they
Gardens?
actually are. They are SeaWorld as a public company.
Well, I don't think that's what they.
They mean government owned. Yeah.
Yeah. That's hilarious.
SeaWorld state owned. That'd be better than Scott Ross, to be honest. You know. I don't know.
Scott Ross versus
Probably.
DeSantis. Who wins?
That's true. That could be an actual battle too, because
Versus Todd Joseph.
they're both in the same jurisdiction. Well, I'm talking SeaWorld and
Yeah. Oh, that'd be
DeSantis.
interesting.
Yeah.
All Scott Ross has to do is say gay
I don't know
or
who to
something.
support there. They'd actually come to agreement.
They would.
somehow.
And the agreement would be to like put more restrictions on Disney.
Hurt Disney, help SeaWorld. DeSantis would be like, "Oh, you guys abuse your animals? I like that. I'm not an environmentalist either." I'm gonna use the restroom really quickly. Oh my God, Brad Pitt is trending on Twitter.
I wonder why.
What's trending? Trending?
Formula One, yeah.
Not trending on my Twitter that I don't have.
Because
I'm sure mine is still Ringo Starr probably. It's always Ringo Starr is trending.
this is actually funny.
So it's telling me that Mahura? Who's that?
Mahira is an ancient deity from the Mayan religion.
It's sports.
I just made that up.
It's sports.
It says sports trending Mahura.
Timmy, look at that Twitter. It might be a player. Mahira might be a player.
J. McCall Green. Carol is trending under music. And Jenny is trending under unscripted reality.
Did you see that, Timmy?
Yeah, that's funny. That was my favorite. Well, that people will sit by the microphone sometimes, like to pick up the car noises in Formula One, and like just make noises as they go by, like with their mouth. I'm like, no, and like he just gets picked up.
What the hell? Did he get lost? Wait, what?
No, he just didn't brake soon enough for the turn.
Oh, so that's why he went way wide.
Yes.
He just went into the grass. A little overshot there, but all right, I'm gonna go.
I like how the camera has to yank left.
Yes, because they were not expecting it.
We're like, what? That's pretty funny. Why does it keep... Ubuntu Studio keeps logging me out. I don't like it. I have no idea what that even would be under. I would think security, but I don't see security. All right, I guess I'm just gonna have to keep moving the mouse. Where the hell are security settings? This is pissing me off.
Dude, our point's trending.
What?
I'm just.
The only thing, everything trending is just what Twitter thinks you're gonna want to see.
I know. Virginia's trending.
Not trending for me. Look, West Virginia. No, it's not.
Oh yeah, the
Did
the Miami
the Cel-
Grand Prix. Oh yeah, I saw the Celtics destroy.
Slaughtered. RC was talking shit the entire day about how the Sixers were gonna sweep them, and then we beat them by 40 points.
He said it. He said unless Al Horford hits 3 threes.
RC was talking shit. I can't imagine that.
I know. I said, let me make $100 bet with you that the Sixers do not sweep the Celtics. He's like, that's not a logical debate for me because it's not going to happen. I'm like, you're the one that said it was going to happen.
What?
I never made that claim. I was like, if you're not willing to put your money where your mouth is, shut the. Shut that mouth.
Oh my God, where the hell is that setting? This is gonna drive me
Dancing in the
crazy.
moonlight. Everybody's dancing.
Nope.
You're just singing songs that I was listening to yesterday.
What other songs did we listen to yesterday?
You also sang "Hold On Loosely."
Really?
Yes, I was listening to that yesterday.
I haven't listened to either of those songs in a minute. I was just singing them. Let me see if I can have a premonition about another one that you listened to yesterday.
You already. You sing. I thought
What?
you were about to sing the one I put on my Instagram story. I guess some premonition. You're like,
Oh, the Faces song that you put on
Yeah.
yours? No, I was gonna sing My Little Runaway, my run.
yeah. That's in my playlist, and so I just click on the top, and I can't shuffle through them half the time, so it just goes down in order.
Don't quit your day job. This is absolutely ridiculous. I cannot find the setting where it locks the screen. Like how can this be hard to find? Oh wait, there's a search bar.
It's not that hard to find.
Look, there it is.
You were saying?
It's under workspace behavior. What? Why? All right, apply that shiznit. Hopefully, it won't go to sleep. Or not. I mean, no, I already fixed the not go to sleep thing. Hopefully, it won't lock.
I like how Muffy's playstyle posts on Instagram, James.
I know. I miss Muffy.
I miss Muffy too. We'll never get to see Muffy again because Jalen killed him.
I know. Bastard.
Bless you.
Thank you. All right. Are we ready to continue?
Pose.
If we must.
Three, two,
And we are back and ready to talk year-round operations. Truly, the true question we're trying to pinpoint here is: do they help or hurt the regional parks? And I think that's kind of a loaded question, to be honest, because it depends on the region, obviously. But we're gonna kind of have a discourse on that, and so yes, let it commence. We can begin. I guess I'll start with my kind of viewpoint and then go to Bob's and Timmy's. I honestly think that, like, I'm just going to use Kings Dominion and Busch Gardens since those are the two closest in my vicinity. Both of those parks seem to have not been able to facilitate year-round operation well. Busch Gardens going as far to stop doing year-round operation, and Kings Dominion having such low attendance numbers that I can't imagine it was profitable for them. And I don't think that there really is a market to tap into here because I don't think people in January and February want to go to amusement parks. I know that January and February are kind of known as these months where there's nothing to do. So, hey, let's go to an amusement park. But it's freezing cold in Virginia most of the time. Rides aren't even going to be open most of the time. So you'll have, I guess, some shops and some food to go to, but you could also just go to the mall if that's really what they're looking for, shops and foods. So I don't see it a really valuable, lucrative market to tap into within the region in Virginia.
Yeah.
So, like,
But was Virginia freezing cold this year? Like, it really wasn't the normal freezing. Like, I don't think that it's nearly as cold as it used to
I
get.
think we had an
in
off
this
year, but
area.
I think
I don't think it's an off year. I think it's a trend.
I disagree with that. I don't think that I know what your argument is going to be global warming, but I don't think that global warming is not
it's
happening
not
on that
even
exponential of a scale. But
Fake news.
no, I agree. Global warming isn't a phenomenon, but it is not happening at that exponential of a rate that it's just like, oh, it's just warm now in Virginia during the winter.
But it has I'm not saying it just all of a sudden happened. I'm saying it has happened. It has happened over the
You
last
just
10
had
years.
like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we had like one of the biggest snowstorms in Virginia history.
Yes, but outside of that snowstorm, it was still warm most of the days outside of that.
Okay, what are
get
you
cold
constituting as
days.
warm? Because it's like it's still in the 40s. Like it's still cold.
Yeah.
That's still cold.
40s. I mean, we had quite a few 50-degree days this winter.
That is not what I constitute as warm. That's like borderline threshold, I guess.
Well, see,
getting into
James
60s, so that's
James
where
is just weird. That's warm to me.
Timmy
James knows. James knows.
absolute
it's-
zero Kelvin is warm to Timmy. So
Yeah.
I don't even want to hear that shit.
That's like comfortable room temperature for me.
Timmy's chilling. I'm the
James
on the
knows
beach
that if
chair
I-
outside.
If it's like 65 degrees outside or like 60 degrees, I'm like,
Timmy's
oh, it's nice. I'm like wearing
sweating.
shorts and a t-shirt and.
Oh, absolutely.
65, 70, yeah, of course. That's
Well, I'm
totally
saying like
warm.
I'm saying 60, like 60 degrees.
60s where it starts to get like a little chilly.
50, I'll go do stuff outside. I'm not going to
will.
wear shorts.
I
I'm
will.
going to wear a
and I-
jacket. I'll go
there
ride
definitely is a,
coaster.
there's an amount of people that will. So yes, there are some days here or there where if it gets 50 degrees in the winter and it is nice to go out and go to an amusement park for sure. But the thing is, they're not open. They're trying to operate not just those days, but throughout the entire winter. When it does drop it down into those 30s and 40s, a lot more than it's getting up into those 50s. So 50s and 60s. So just because there's a few outlier days here and there during the winter, I don't think that is justifiable. You're
See,
still
I
putting your revenue at jeopardy.
I think the days that are under 35 are more the outliers.
Okay, do we have to pull up like National Weather Service
But
data here? Like,
the issue is not even that. The issue is that the rides don't operate under like 45 degrees.
yes, that is the issue. That most rides at the parks are like 45, 40. That's the cutoff.
Like they'll
And after
post,
that, they can't operate.
They'll post the temperatures online and like it'll state like I don't know, like I know Dollywood does it, and it's like 45-ish degrees. A lot of the rides go down.
It also depends on how they're set up. I mean, there are times that like you can change out oil. And I'm not saying Kings Dominion is doing it or Busch Gardens is doing it. I don't think they are. But I think the thing is, my argument is I think they get this started and they can maybe try to recoup something. The thing is I don't think that I think it helps them with staffing because they can actually employ more full-time employees and offset it by, even if it's a low amount of income, they can offset some of that. But I think as it grows, I think that's the thing, is you have to be determined. Like backing out of it, like trying it for a year and then saying, oh, it's not working, like that's dumb. And you should have known that's dumb going into it, because the first year you do it, you're not going to get a lot of people. People aren't used to that, being a thing. The other problem is like, you kind of also have to be careful with how you schedule. And this has kind of been a thing with King's Dominion, and there have been times where it's hindered me of actually going. Is I look at the weather and I'm like, yeah, I could deal with that, but I don't know if King's Dominion is going to deal with that. Like there's a fear of them closing, and that keeps me from going more than the weather does. So I think that's the thing, is I think if you're going to open, if you set a schedule, you need to kind of commit to that, and you need to kind of try to find something that people can do in those situations. And that may be more of the issue, like.
I think the solution here is honestly just like, you can open the rides a little bit, keep them open a little bit later into the season and open them up a little bit earlier, possibly. But I don't think that keeping the rides open during the winter season is the best option that they have available. I think that, especially because they're getting such low attendance right now, it doesn't make much sense to keep those rides open, and then how it kind of screws them a little bit later on in the season, because I know like Fury is like missing a train still, or two trains. Like
that is also a segment of my argument. Yeah.
Yeah, because they're not able to do seasonal maintenance, because there is no seasonal maintenance anymore. They're open all year round.
Which like the Florida parks can do, because they're built for that, and they have already developed these systems in which it's pretty rapid. They take a train off and it's back up within a month. Twisted Timbers is still running one train at King's Dominion, and the park has been open. I mean, the ride's been open. It hasn't closed since last winter when they did winter operation then. So like it's been on one train for 3-4 months now, which is terrible. It's May. Like this is
That's
like the
issue,
prime
right?
time.
Yeah, it's that we're in
Operation.
May now, and that a lot of rides like these parks that are new to the year-round operation are running lower capacity, because
Busch Gardens Williamsburg had to have their bridge from the Italy section of the park to the Germany section of the park closed, and it just reopened in May again. Like that's ridiculous.
But
That's ridiculous.
none of that is the fault of being open. That's the fault of mismanaging being open.
But I think that in turn comes from being open. Like it's mismanaged because they're trying to execute these tasks they normally have a set time to execute during the off season, and now they're having to try to facilitate them at different times. All of these projects started.
But see, that's the whole.
Twisted Timbers one train started during winter operation, though.
But that my point is this is kind of them testing the waters and figuring out how it's going. I honestly think that they're making. I don't know what the hell BGW is doing. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They just kind of whatever.
I know what they're doing. It's charging 5% surcharge.
Well, they are doing that, and yeah. But I think the thing is like if you kind of commit to this, you kind of look at it long term. If you actually look at this long term, I think this makes sense. Like while it's down, get used to doing this, because there is a trend. I mean, winters are getting warmer. I mean, yes, I grew up in Pittsburgh, but the difference between Pittsburgh and Northern Virginia is not that different. When I was growing up, we had snow. Like as soon as winter started, we would have one snow, and it would just be snow on the ground until spring came. Now you barely see snow at all, and like that's a trend. That's a trend that's been continuing, and I think that the whole point of this is you start figuring out how to maintain this type of a schedule, and you start out slow, and you take it at a loss. Because the reward is later when you're ready to go, and BGW is like, oh, I guess we should have been open. And they're the ones that are going to be trying to struggle to figure out how to handle year-round operations. King's Dominion's already done 4 years of it. They know what they're doing. And at the point when it starts becoming popular. And people also get used to that. I mean, there's something about saying that King's Dominion is open every weekend. If you can embed that in people's brains, then hey, it's Saturday. I could go to King's Dominion. You don't have to worry about a schedule. You just know that you can go to King's Dominion on a Saturday. And that takes time to build that, to get people used to that it's automatic. It's oh yeah, hey, they're open. We can do that. But yeah, I think that
my thing is that as a Richmond native, somebody that lives in the area, most people would always say, hey, isn't Kings Dominion open year round? Like I've seen a lot of people that recognize that and just decide still it isn't worth it because it is. The average temperature in Richmond only gets up. The average temperature in January is 50 degrees. That's the average high. The average low is 30. Like it's still chilly out for the most part.
That's what you just argued, that it was less than 35 degrees. 50 is I'm not against going to park at 50. Okay, yeah, average high of the day. That means that there's days that it's going up to 60.
And then there are days that it goes below that. That's my point as well.
Yes, there are.
But now we're getting back into the argument
for those days, being open for those days that are warmer is worth it. And it's not something you're going to have right now. That's my whole point. Right now, it doesn't make sense. What makes sense is the long-term view of this, of getting used to running the park that way, because the trend is getting warmer. And a time is coming where people are, there have been quite a few days that
all I know is next year we're going to get the massive blizzard coming through Virginia, and it's going to...
Yeah, I'm sure it's been
jinxed now.
But it's only going to last a week, and then it's going to be 60 degrees the next week. That's just the way our winters have been going. I'm not saying we're not going to see any more snow.
I just don't know if a day or two of warm is profitable for,
You continue to ignore my entire point.
You're trying to say that it's like a build up for future time,
yeah.
Which I don't know if that's necessarily, we don't know that to be true for also, we don't know what's.
No, we don't.
Global warming actually should eventually lead to some colder temperatures throughout the course of its actual process. So it doesn't necessarily just all of a sudden get super hot and we're all going to be like, oh, it's summer all the time. That's not.
I'm not saying it's going to ever be super hot. I'm just saying that I think that the trend of our climate right now in this area is going that way. I don't think it makes any sense for Cedar Point to open year round, but I think Kings Dominion is right on that line where, yeah, it makes sense. Pennsylvania parks probably aren't ready for it. But
Dorney's, you just said that you were in Pittsburgh and it's the same as Northern Virginia essentially. So why can't Dorney do it year round?
Or Kennywood?
Altitude. Altitude makes a big difference.
But didn't you just say that Pittsburgh is comparable
in Northern Virginia. Northern Virginia is also different than Richmond.
Correct. That is true.
Different from LA where it snows.
It's warmer in Richmond than it is in Northern Virginia.
Yes, correct.
That's my point. I'm not even saying Six Flags America. Six Flags America probably could, but probably not. But King's Dominion is, not really. I don't know. What is the elevation of Richmond? Can't be that high.
It's not too high. It's pretty flat because it's the Piedmont region.
It's right next to coastal Virginia. So
it's on the fault line.
So 166 feet above sea level.
There you go.
But what's Arlington's elevation?
But it's
604 feet. Oh wait, that's Arlington, Texas.
272 feet. So
but that's not the point I'm making. Northern Virginia has nothing to do with it.
Allentown. I don't know.
These are all further north anyway.
What is Toronto's elevation?
It literally said King's Dominion is on the line. And you're looking up everything more north.
I'm not, actually. That was a joke. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't think I mean, if it ends up panning out how you predict, I think you're right. If the trends continue and it's all of a sudden 50, 60 degrees during the winter is the norm, then of course that's the logical route. But that's just not where we're at right now. I don't think that's where we're going to be at even 10, 15 years down the line. So I don't see it right now as the best course of action.
But I think people are getting more used to doing things in the winter too. It's not even necessarily a warmer thing. It's just people are they're getting more used to, oh, hey, it's winter. Like winter used to be you didn't step out of your house because it was fucking cold. And it's not that way anymore. And now it's like
someone from the north though. I don't. That is true for Pittsburgh and up. That is definitely the true mindset. But I mean, even in those regions, like you just said, that's still the mindset. Like south of there, it's always been. I mean, I as a kid still went out and did stuff
even
during
in
the
Northern
winter in
Virginia, when I first moved to Northern Virginia, like it was always fucking cold. It was always cold, always cold. It was like I just hated leaving my house anytime that it was winter. And it's not like that anymore. Yeah, there are days where I don't want to go out because it's so cold, but those days are very, very few in comparison. It's like a cold spell of like maybe a week max, and then it's not bad. I mean, yeah, you're not going to wear shorts to the park. You're probably going to be wearing a jacket or a coat, but
I mean, speak for yourself.
oh, yeah.
I guess my thing is just as somebody that I visited the parks during this time frame because I was in school. I had access to Busch Gardens Williamsburg right down the road, and I knew it wouldn't be busy. And it really hasn't been busy at Busch Gardens Williamsburg up until this point. I have still been going since March and April, and that there haven't been crowds. So that's my point. Is that like it's not? I don't think it's a sustainable pan, and that's why they stopped doing it. Busch Gardens Williamsburg stopped doing it. They're not a year-round park anymore. They have that month now in January where they don't operate, and then they kick back up in mid-February. But I think they realized last year that it wasn't profitable. It wasn't a paradigm that was working for them, and they decided to revert.
Which is exactly the opposite of my point. They're not. They are at odds with the point I'm trying to make, and I actually said that. They're not going to stick with it if they're not going to make a short-term profit. SeaWorld does not care about long-term.
I forgot about you used to have that mindset that they don't care about the long term. I forgot about that point that you
like that. That's the whole thing. I think Cedar Fair does care more about the long term. Maybe not even as much as they should, but I think that's where they're coming at this from. I don't. Who knows? Maybe next year they won't do it. Maybe they'll give up too. I don't know, but I think there is a point to it. I don't think it's completely worthless, even if you're taking a loss at it. And I think Zimmerman even said that in the earnings call.
In the earnings call, yeah. He
said about the, like we usually are just a straight loss during these months. So like, you can get creative and it's not really like a hindrance to what they're typically used to. It's just spending money in a different way, but it's not, I mean, even if they're still losing money, it's not like they're worse off because they were always losing money in that time period anyway.
But somehow they lost money by opening more parks still. Like that's the funny thing. That's the ironic thing about it.
Yeah, I mean, at times, yeah, but I think that, I think it kind of puts them in a better position. I really think the big thing is it helps them with staffing. I think that's a major thing because it's hard to get quality employees that return over year after year after year if you can't offer full-time employment. And by losing money in a different way, let's put it that way, you can actually have more
you can
full-time
retain
employees.
Full staff.
Yes. And I think that's the genius of this plan. I think that's the big thing is like you can actually retain that employment and actually offer, people that just need their full-time job. You can actually get those people to work at a park, which has always been a struggle because you're always, parks are usually stuck with college, high school age students because they're the ones that the scheduling works out for, So I think that's the genius of it. And I'm,
I mean,
I'm
the
not.
parks have had full time prior to this. Still, that's I don't
Yeah,
know.
but I'm saying that like they can have more of them in more positions that usually traditionally weren't full time. But let me be clear. I'm not making an argument that, oh, this is a great thing because they're making money off of this. I think this is just losing money in a different way. If you're going to lose money, like do it in a way that makes maybe some more benefit to the company in other areas. And I think that's what's going on here.
I think that's a fair assessment of why some parks might be doing it for sure. I do think that I don't know. It really does. It really does kind of sit on that point. If the trend continues and the tendency for the climate changes in the drastic way that you're kind of hoping, or not hoping, but think it will, and that is based on that fact. If that's true, I can understand why this would be again down the line an important move and kind of a fundamental, essential move that they would need to make in order to kind of change people's perception of the parks at this time. I agree with that, and I do see like how this is just essentially allocating resources elsewhere during this time, and you're still able to operate and maintain, a net loss, but you're still, like you said, benefiting the parks in a certain way. So I can get that. However, I don't know. It's like, first off, obviously we don't have the data on hands for employment at these parks. Obviously that's private. So we can't really say if that was something that was a major factor in this direction. I don't know. It's tough. That really would change my mind if that was something that really was something that boosted because of this decision. If the parks came out and said, "Hey, we really before we had only 100 full time, now we're able to have 250 full time on our payroll," that would really be like, "Oh, okay." That would eye open and be like, "Okay, that makes sense." So if that point is true, which we can't really determine,
yeah, there's no
then
way
I could maybe give you some leeway on that argument, and I would probably actually end up accepting that as the better of the two options. But I don't know. And I don't know. That's tough. That's really what it, I think, depends on. I don't agree with you on the climate change argument as much, but I could agree with you about the full-time employment status for sure.
It's not. I'm not really going at it from a strict climate change thing. I mean,
Well, I didn't mean it
I
as in a
think
climate change, as in global warming.
but
I meant
the
it like just like
trending.
yeah. I meant it more in a regional sense, not.
But I think the way
scale.
the way to look at it though is, I don't think it's as much of a risk for a potential huge reward because of the fact that they're already losing money. If they've found a way to actually make money while they were closed and then they did this and they're losing money, absolutely, that's kind of dumb from a business perspective.
But you think about it, I get, and I know Zimmerman came out and said that this is normally a period in which they're not profiting. Operating these rides, paying staff, maintaining electricity and water, all of that ends up losing them a ton of money too. So like,
but
if there aren't people in the park, they might as well be closed and not have all those things ongoing.
But it is also offset by some income that comes in as well.
Correct.
Now,
but if that income isn't great enough volumes, then
that's the thing. We don't know that, and it's hard. I would kind of think that
my money on it not being, but that's
I don't think it's going to be a wash. I think they're probably still losing money. I just don't think they're losing as much money as they think. But here's another big thing though. And I've heard this so many times when talking to non-park enthusiasts. Why would you get a year-long pass for something that's not open all year? And
it's a season pass. Just change the nominal structure of the name, and you're good.
But I've still heard people say that same argument to me. And I think there's also a point of just by you being open year round,
I don't think that fulfills that obligation.
You might actually sell more season passes.
I don't know about that one. I get that. I get their semantical argument. It's not a year round pass if it's not, I get that, but I don't think many people are sitting there going, "Oh man, I can't go in January and February to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg. Fuck it, I'm not buying a pass."
But I don't think. But that's the thing is I don't think people look at it that way. I think they look at it as like, oh, I'm paying for 2 months that I can't use this pass.
The thing
It's
is,
not-
though, even during those 2 months, there's nothing going on at these parks. Like Kings Dominion has half the park closed off, one
know.
roller coaster operating, and then Busch Gardens, same situation. You have 3 coasters that are.
I
like,
know.
it's not.
They don't even have a bridge open.
But
Exactly. You can't even access the park. You got to go around. You got to do a big U-turn every time you want to go.
the point is they're open. You have the ability. Even if there's no way in hell you're going to use that ability, you have that ability, and that makes in the way certain people think, that
It's
makes
all
a big difference. It
It's all
really does.
psychology.
I mean, it's just,
I
it's the
understand
same-
like consumer investment. I understand where you're coming at, but I can't imagine a large faction of the population is in that boat. Enough for it to matter. Enough for it to matter.
I think you would be surprised at just how much that matters.
If it was, then they would have done this 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
But
I mean,
there was no 20, 30 years ago, there was no possibility of income.
sure.
Like,
keep
when
the. Damn! What the hell? Did you guys hear that?
No.
Scared the shit out of me. Hold up. Let's pause the show real quick. Something just fell in my room and scared the shit out of me. Holy shit. Damn it, I was just about to get a good point too. What just fell? Oh, fucking my picture fell off the wall. That's cool.
Which picture?
The Beatles, the Yellow Submarine photo.
No, that's the cool one.
You have a holographic.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll fix that in a minute.
All right.
What did you just say, Bob? What was the last thing you said? Can you listen back to your audio?
1 sec. Back further than I thought.
On to Coke 3 of the night. Appreciate you.
So great for your teeth.
Yep. I love supporting.
There was no
Companies that don't
possibility of them having income
Okay.
back
20, 30
then.
years ago. Yeah, let's start there. I'm gonna
What
start there.
timestamp?
1142. Eat my ass.
What?
That's not a timestamp.
That's an order.
I don't think you realize he calls me 1142. That's an inside joke.
I'm at
It was-
127.35.
Well, that was 127.38 for me.
I mean, you choose. Just 137.36. Just meet in the middle.
But I can't cut. If I cut back to that, I'm going to lose what I said.
No, I know. I see what you're saying.
I can't cut more than 127.38. That's all I can cut to.
Then you do that. You cut to that. And Timmy, you do 127.37.
What? From now on, I thought it was 1134.
From now on. You like that? All right, let's go.
good.
I'm gonna cut on here. I'm gonna cut in. This is my bit. All right, here we go.
3, 2.
Sure there is. There is a way to make profit. You just like now, just like half of the days they're gonna have all the rides closed and just the shops and restaurants open. Do the same thing then. That's what I'm trying to say. Is that like most of the time, okay, even if we want to, let's just call it a 50-50 split, right? Like 50% of the days are operable because you have great temperatures and beautiful sky, sunny sky. It's nice out, 50 degrees, 60 degree days. Then you also have your cold days when you don't have anything operating and you don't have.
But it's
even
not,
if we want to
it
call it
wasn't
the
just
50-50
temperature
split.
back then. It was snow.
Okay, clear the park out, get the salt on the roads, and shovel the damn.
That's no problem.
I'm saying it's more practical now. I don't think it was at all practical 20 years ago.
But your argument is the last 10 years, right? We've been experiencing this trend, this tendency of warmer temperatures. Why not 10 years ago if this has always been
Okay, well, your argument was
pragmatic
20 or
approach?
30 years ago.
Okay, well let's go 10 then. Let's just go back as far as 10 and say why
Okay,
not 10
well,
years ago?
They didn't figure it out then.
Okay. Bob needs to be a consultant for the parks because he knows all this beforehand.
Meteorologist Bob.
I don't know.
I think honestly, I think the best way to do it right now is during like a month like January where they are going to have really low attendance and it's going to be cold, like where there's going to be some, like I'd say probably a majority of the days where they're on the fence about operating the rides. Just have other ways of like producing entertainment and value for a ticket at that day. Like you don't have to operate the rides. Like even if like they want to say like they don't operate the rides during those days just because they can do maintenance on them, even I think would be the best option right now until it starts to get warmer. Even
I think you're losing a substantial amount of your attendance when you say you're not operating rides anymore.
but you'll still have the pass holders who want to come and
I don't think you will. I don't
think.
think I'm not going to Busch Gardens, Williamsburg if our rides aren't operating to go see a show. I mean, or go eat at the Fest House. Like I'm not doing that.
See,
It doesn't make sense. I could go to the mall. I could go to the food court.
Oh, hold up. That prime rib, that damn prime rib.
Oh my lord!
If I lived closer to the park, I would go just to buy some prime rib. Being a pass holder, if I lived closer to the park, I absolutely. There were literally times where I'm sitting up here in Martinsburg going, "Oh, I wish it wasn't so far away because I want that prime rib."
Better prime rib, I'm sure, somewhere closer to you, and for half the cost. So even with your Platinum Pass discount, what is that? 20% at the Cedar Fair parks. That's still they charge you probably $20 for a prime rib at
But
those
it's
parks.
different.
It's different, yeah.
It's different. Okay.
Because you can ride Intimidator after.
Yeah, but closer to me, yes. But if you're close to
Which is
King's
not.
Dominion, my point is, if you're close to King's Dominion, like, well, that's an option. You can go there. It's not that far to drive to eat.
I'm close to King's Dominion. I ain't going to get a prime rib when they're closed, when the rides are closed. I'm sorry.
You're different.
I'm not different. Timmy, how many times you go to the park get prime rib during the off season?
Well, I hate to be that guy, but I remember there was like sometimes where there was like a week where school was out my sophomore year, and I was still up in Richmond, and I was just going to the park to eat because I had the meal plan.
Parks weren't year round then, though. The rides were open. That's my point. No one's going solely for the prime rib. That's my point.
Clint Novak would like to have a word with you.
Clint Novak is an outlier for damn sure. That man lives at King's Dominion. He might as well put his permanent address as King's Dominion. Theme Park Way, Doswell, Virginia. That's where he lives. I don't care what he says. He does not live in Fredericksburg.
There's different people, though. I think the point. I think that's.
I agree.
There's
marketing that exists for a reason because we don't all think the same. It's a science. There's a bit of guessing and trying to pull strings and make things work the way you think so. But I just don't think
it's mind control.
Sometimes, yeah.
They're trying to get you to go cashless.
They want your data. The liberals.
If you don't know, you don't know.
Those zealots.
It's only the liberals that want your data.
Yeah, it's partisan. Republicans don't care about your data. They don't want to exploit you at all. Nope. Politicians are not in the business of exploitation. Yeah, politicians are not in the job. Not in the job of exploitation. Only the Democratic ones. All right. So I think we've reached an impasse here. We're obviously not going to agree on all things. Obviously, that's our show. So
yeah, because James is always wrong.
Yeah, we can leave it up to the audience to interpret that as it is. I'm sure we'll get feedback from our listeners about their response. I know Daniel. I feel like this is a Daniel.
Oh, this is absolutely a Daniel topic.
This is a Daniel response waiting to happen.
Monday or Tuesday, our Discord, we're gonna have some messages from Daniel.
But no, I think the consensus is that really there is no consensus. That's the consensus. It definitely.
I mean, there is a consensus. Like there's some points that we kind of agree on.
Yeah, I think. So.
The bottom line is this is all conjecture because we don't have those hard numbers. We're not going to get those hard numbers. These are theory based.
Yeah, the data really is up to perception, how you perceive what we think would be the data.
And thanks to DeSantis, we're never going to know that about Florida.
Never going to get that information. It's gonna be gone. Yeah. All right. So now we're moving on into the weekly poll. Which honestly, we should have made this question our weekly poll for next week. So should we go ahead and maybe flip that, or do we want to continue?
Yeah, I think we should. I think we should.
Yeah, because I think we didn't reach an agreement, so I think we should leave it up to the audience to decide somewhat. All right. Well, the weekly poll for this week, however, was what is the best themed area of a park that you visited? And Disney and Universal, we didn't necessarily exclude them, but obviously that's a little cheap to use that as an example. I'm sure we did get some. I'm gonna scan it here in a sec, but we didn't exclude them, so those do count. Those are admissible. Those are permissible. Excuse me. All right, so yeah, the first one we actually got Pandora at Animal Kingdom. Like I said, I understand. We probably could have specified a little bit more, like regional parks that don't have a $100 million budget per ride.
I think it means that when you see a regional park on here, it's more impactful.
It is, and it makes you go, okay, that seems like something like Universal Disney. I have that expectation, but when I hear a regional park has a great themed area, I'm like, oh, I want to check that out. But if you tell me, oh, Diagon Alley is great, or Pandora, I'm like, oh yeah, of course,
Right. I'd like to bring up a great regional park to you, James, called Disneyland.
Yeah, it is a great one. Never been there.
That's just a shitty regional park, though.
They've been on fire recently.
They burn a whole island down.
The roof is on fire. All right, so that was from audience. It's Ryan's Photography is the user that submitted that response about Pandora. Airtime Mike responded and said Ghost Town at Knott's Berry Farm.
Great.
Jungle X at King's Dominion.
Yeah, buddy.
Halloween at Holiday World. And Diagon Alley at Universal.
Not spelled correctly in classic Airtime Mike fashion.
Diagon Alley is how you spell it.
You mean
He's
like you,
pagan?
Timmy?
Yeah, exactly.
Didn't see is on fire.
Didn't see, yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I think all of those are great. I've actually had the opportunity to get out to all of those. So, Ghost Town at Knott's really is a great. It is that kind of generic Western theme, but they just execute it so much better than the other parks can.
Well,
it's really well done.
The thing that makes
And
it
they have the
special is the
actors.
Ghost Town Alive. Yeah, the actors.
I was gonna say the actors that they have really, but even so, like Dollywood has staff there that dress up like, Western. They have the overalls and the cowboy hat. Like they do it too, but it's like something about Knott's is truly
Knott's the thing. So
encapsulating.
sometimes like they'll send you on like quests and stuff, and like you can spend a lot of time just enveloped in the theme and stuff because they'll like how do you go?
Like I'm hungry. Go get me a funnel cake.
Go give me some prime rib.
Some BBQ.
BBQ.
All right. Shockwave Dan responded.
Oh, this is my favorite
This
answer.
This is the greatest answer here. The France bathrooms at Six Flags Over Texas. And if any of the listeners remember, and Bob, you as well, when we went to Six Flags Over Texas, Timmy and I were infatuated by these bathrooms at Six Flags Over Texas. The name of it, not the France bathrooms, it's actually called For les gens.
Yes, you have to say it like that.
You have to say it like that, and it's so mesmerizing. We could not stop saying that the entire time. we would be walking by and For les gens, let's go to For les gens.
Yeah, we wouldn't even be near it.
Timmy would have to go to the bathroom, and Timmy would be like, I want to go to For les gens.
we have a selfie outside of this bathroom. I'll just put it that way.
It's almost as iconic as Pizza Predatoria at Universal Studios Islands Adventure.
It's up there for sure.
It's almost as iconic. Thrills of Virginia responded. Great response here. Superhero City at Islands Adventure. I think that's an underappreciated one. Because I think what most people expect, it kind of does seem tacky, right? It's just like the comic strips all over the place. But I think that's really great because they're trying to get you into the comics, right? They're trying to make you feel like you're in the comics. And I think you do. You're not supposed to feel like you're in the movies or like actually there with them because it's a comic book. And I think, comic books are two-dimensional. Like, I just think they do it really well, if that makes sense. Like the way that you perceive the superhero city at Islands Adventure actually is how I would imagine, like almost going into a comic book would be like. It's not realistic. It's goofy. It's really exaggerated.
Personally, I think that extends into Toontown as well.
Toon Lagoon.
Yeah, Toon Lagoon.
Yeah, that's what I meant. You know.
Toontown is at Disneyland.
I know.
I disagree because that's the IP though, but I love the funny papers too. So like as someone who loves them, I love that area. So I don't want to advocate for its demise, but I don't think it's relevant. But there we go again with the
You
relevancy
and your
argument, I'm sure.
relevance. You don't know what's relevant.
Betty Boop, come on. Who the hell knows Betty Boop anymore?
It doesn't matter. That's the whole thing. It's the whole comic book thing. It doesn't matter of the comics themselves. It's the comics themselves coming to
Nobody
life.
reads the newspaper anymore. The comic books are still graphic novels, comic books still are being produced. The newspapers are slowly dying.
That's false because why are they trying to charge me like $3 every time I try to read a New York Times article?
The digital versions of them are alive and well. my
Are you
friend.
saying there's no digital versions of comics?
Not, I don't think they're as consumed as the reason that you would consume the comics is like you would give your comic to your kid when they were young and they would read it. Like I myself, I don't like when you're reading an article online, you're not trying to like keep your children occupied anymore because they have TV and phones and whatnot. You're not trying to pacify them with any
I don't
type
think I
of.
ever read the comics in the newspaper until I was like a teenager.
No, I
So
disagree.
I don't know
I
what
read
you're on
the-
about.
What? Timmy, when did you read the comics in the newspaper?
I don't think I never even had a newspaper, so
Okay, there we go. Point proven. Point proven. Right there. There we
the
go.
reason why that happened with Bob though is because the newspaper wasn't even invented until he was
Bob was there when Gutenberg invented the printing press. I mean,
exactly.
It was a good day. It really was. It was a good day.
oh my lord. All right. Well, we're not obviously going to satisfy any type of agree. We're not going to come to any conclusion there. So let's move on. Frontier Town at CP was also at CP at Cedar Point was also
LCP.
BGW CP. Come on. Frontier Town at Cedar Point was also mentioned. I don't know. That one's a little bit more.
I like the
it's
area
all
just
right.
because the ride's there.
No, I actually think that's I think it's lost a lot over the last few years.
I
maybe
would
10
consider it a
years.
lost continent sometimes. I can't lie to you.
Yeah, I think
That was good. That was good.
I really honestly I wish I could have seen it before. Like when you actually had to take the sky ride over to it, you couldn't actually walk to Frontier Town. I think that would be so cool. Like having
Yeah.
a completely isolated frontier area.
Yeah, separate admission.
Yeah, separate gate.
I mean, no better
Um,
way to isolate it, right?
But I think there is. If you walk through there, you can tell like there is a ton of detail to it. I think they've just kind of watered it down a little bit. That honestly, like this question, honestly, that's one of the first things that came to my mind. And then
Well, I can
said,
tell you
"Nah,
which
not
one
really,"
didn't
but
come to
it
my
really
mind.
did.
But another section of this park came to my mind. Oktoberfest at Busch Gardens Williamsburg was mentioned by Thrills of Virginia as well. I think that's a good area of the park, but I mean, come on. I think England is by far the best area of that park. England really like when I walk into that park every time, I'm still like
I gain an
totally-
accent.
Yes, I'm totally enthralled with
I
my
don't know.
surroundings. I think
That's
England
where
really
guest
great.
services is, and like I kind of have
God.
it's bad
Well, no,
memories.
services is
memories by
outside. Guest
association.
relations is in the park.
That's true. That's why the whole park sucks.
All right, moving on to Pierce's response. He said Galaxy's Edge. That
Great
is a
take.
great one. Can't argue there again. $1 billion budget. You can't go wrong there. Although I will say I have a vice with it because I don't like how they implemented Galaxy's Edge by creating an entirely new planet that doesn't exist within the Star Wars universe, and now they're trying
But
to
does
retcon it
now.
in. Now they're trying
Yeah.
to retcon it into the Disney universe, to the Star Wars universe, which is awful. It would have been kind of cool if it had been a pre-existing planet on which we'd already kind of experienced, and that way it actually did feel like we were walking into the movies, which I think they kind of failed at. But it's still,
My last visit, I kind of understand more why they did that though. They wanted to kind of like create more of an experience, like they could create whatever they wanted with it, rather than just try be limited to what is in the movies and inside.
you're right, because Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade really just fail. They just fall short because they didn't have
Exactly.
that
Thank you.
creative.
Because you can't freaking walk around without stepping on someone else's feet or getting hit in with a stroller.
Men. It's miserable.
It's just so freaking because they had this Diagon Alley and Hogsmeade are both
Okay.
freaking.
When I
tiny
took
and-
my niece, I had panic attacks. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to keep track of her through this.
Okay.
That's not my point though. I just kind of like
That's frightening.
my last visit though to Disneyland. I was like, okay, like it was kind of cool, like how they have like their own greetings and stuff that they use at Galaxy's Edge and like their own sayings and stuff that like kind of the people that go to Disneyland a lot understand, and like the rising moons and like falling suns and all this other stuff is like how they greet people and stuff. And I think it's kind of cool that they could like. I think one of the reasons why they made their own is just so they could create that type of.
I'm
thing.
honestly I'm aghast and really astonished that you as a Disney dick would now have reverted your take back and you're in love with Disney again. I can't.
Well, don't get.
imagine.
I'm
That's
not.
crazy.
I'm not saying. I would still prefer if it was like Coruscant or
Yeah.
Tatooine. I'm just saying I understand why they did it.
I think. I mean, I obviously I understand why they did it because they did it, right? So they obviously did it. So I don't know what they did.
Not
What I
why
don't
they
know.
did it.
I don't know what I don't know. No, what I'm saying is I understand why they did it because they did it and they have rationale for it. So I get that was a decision that they made and that they have justification for it. I don't think that's that's not the best move. I don't think it was the most pragmatic, practical approach. But I understand that they did go forward with it. So I'm not disagreeing with you either. I still think going with another planet that we already knew of and was in existence in the Star Wars universe not only would have benefited the Star Wars fans that that was already popularized with, but then even those people that had barely seen Star Wars or had seen it and forgot about it or is not their favorite series, this still enthralls them because they're like, oh my gosh, I remember this from the movie I saw. It's not this random arbitrary planet that I have really no connection to because I really didn't like Star Wars that much at all to begin with, and I'm in some other planet that I've never heard of before. That's kind of where I'm coming
And then
from.
the people it doesn't affect at all is Bob Kamertz.
And Bob's like, I don't
I
give a
just
fuck
like
about
I just like the fact that we now have a sound clip of like I don't like Star Wars at all of James saying that. So
yeah, sensationalism right there. He's gonna clip it and 2-second clip right there and post it out there. James doesn't like Star Wars. All right. The best thing is going to be when you get me to say I like Disney. That's going to be a tough day.
No,
that's going to be
well,
tough to
that's
find.
that's not that's not gonna be
Just said it.
difficult at
I
all.
just said it. I guess actually
There it
I just
is.
set myself up.
I was gonna say it's not gonna be difficult at all. All Universal has to do is open up the park with the separate gates.
Yeah.
For every
No, I'll say
universe.
I like them more. I don't necessarily I like them. I don't know if I'll go that far. All right. Gregory responded and said Jungle Expedition at King's Dominion. By no means is it perfect, but it's a good for a regional park. He said damn good too. I like that. I disagree with. Well, I don't disagree with that. I agree with that take. I disagree with really what needs the continuity of the land is really what's bothering me at this point. It needs to continue on into 305 and Flight of Fear because it really dies off at that section of at Anaconda too. It really dies off, and it needs to continue. That's
Why?
really that.
I don't get that argument. Why does it have to continue there?
I just don't think it doesn't encapsulate me. It doesn't enthrall me when I'm in that section of the park and all of a sudden I'm going from this really, really neat jungle theming and there's these sound clips, there's these sound bites playing like, oh, we need you over at this XYZ research facility right now.
And then all of a sudden there's Peanuts music and basketball.
Yeah, once you bypass the huge sign that says Jungle Expedition, which you've now exited and have that expectation.
King's Dominion, you need to put up a sign between Flight of
Fear. Yes. If you're 100%. If that's no longer Jungle Expedition, sure. But that is considered part of Jungle Expedition, Bob.
But
that is considered a part of that area of the park. And it
maybe internally they might, but there is absolutely no signage that says that Flight of Fear and I-305 are within Jungle Expedition.
Are you kidding me?
As of now, where?
Bob, look at the map of the park. Please.
I'm going to.
Please look at the map of the park.
I'm looking at a map of the park right now too. Oh my god, it's a Google map.
Where is the map?
Surely this isn't the only map.
Directions and map. Oh,
digital
wait.
park mapping guide. You gotta click on digital park mapping guide.
Look at that.
I cannot believe this is.
I don't see
doing.
what makes that.
Do you see the big Jungle Expedition logo next to Anaconda and I-305 and Flight of Fear? How do you? Am I missing something? Look at the rides listed. Look at the color key International Street,
first of
Candy
all,
Apple Grove,
Intimidator
Planet
305
Snoopy,
looks like
Jungle
Anaconda.
Expedition. The rides listed within Jungle Expedition. I-305. Oh, this is not even the rides. I'm on the damn photo key. Okay, but the photo key says that Intimidator 305 is in the photo finish for Jungle Expedition. So is it just the photo finish in the Jungle Expedition, not the ride? I mean what?
Yeah, that's weird.
It's in that enclave. It's in that
It does not
enclave.
say.
Those rides are within the enclave of Jungle Expedition. There is no separation
just-
between those two
just
areas.
photo is.
Okay.
Wait, what'd you say, Bob?
He said just the photo is.
Oh, okay.
They are 100% within that section of the park. I don't understand. What other section would they be a part of? Are they part of Old Virginia?
They're in
Their own little land over there?
area 70. What is it? 72.
72, yeah.
They're in System 76.
That's area. That's area 72 over there.
Okay, well, I finally got one. I'm right. All right, let's move on.
It's an unthemed area. That's the way I see it. It's an unthemed area. Like signage in the park does not indicate that that's Jungle Expedition.
Signage in the
As
park doesn't
where-
indicate the Twisted Timbers is in Candy Apple Grove, but it is. There's not a sign that says this ride is in this section of the park every time you go to a section of the park.
I honestly, I would have completely disagreed with you until they changed the name of Apple's Apple to Apple's Apple.
Okay.
And honest to God, like I would not have considered that Candy Apple Grove, except for that name change. Honest to God, I'd never considered that Candy Apple Grove. I don't
Wait,
know
so does
what they
this
say.
mean the Dominator is part of Planet Snoopy?
Yeah, I guess so.
Dominator is part of the parking lot.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
All right, well,
I
just
thought unthemed rides couldn't exist, or rides in non-themed sections couldn't
No,
exist.
I
thought they all
literally
had to
just
have-
said that Flight of Fear and I-305 is in an unthemed area.
I know, and I thought that got shut
what about
down.
Anaconda and Backlot? Those are two coasters that are also not themed to Jungle Expedition that ruin the continuity of the land.
I feel like
Yes.
Anaconda kind of fits.
Yes, but they're not
Well,
right now. I'm talking about the
Anaconda's
present.
themed to it. Don't tell me it's not themed to it. It's
Bro.
totally themed to it.
Okay, it is within the jungle ideology. Yes, I agree with that. However, it has not been really implemented into the ride itself. There
I
is
don't
no.
care.
Okay.
I mean, it still fits the theme.
All they have to do
Okay.
is like put a sign
Very,
inside.
very preliminarily, it does. Yes.
If they just put a sign inside the queue, then are you happy for the Anaconda that says something about a snake or something like they did it? Arachnidia.
It's an anaconda. It is a snake.
Exactly.
Now,
Okay.
Backlash Coaster, you have a completely decent argument there, and I think I hope that's within the plans to include that. I mean, I
right.
would like to see them expand Jungle X out to Flight of Fear and even I-305 as well, but I don't care. Like I don't think the continuity is ruined. Those are all on the outskirts of what Jungle X is to me.
You also think Nickelodeon Universe is a great theme, so we'll move on from that.
Wait, what?
Another theming argument that we've had, Bob. Diagon
mean-
Alley was again brought up by Coaster Crest, and that was the last response we got. So we can put that poll to bed there, I think.
I'm glad I came up with that weekly poll. That went over well.
Yeah.
So my
I'm-
answer would have been Jungle X.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure.
And I'm dead serious. That is exactly what I was going to say. My second would probably be Hoot and Holler at Idlewild.
I have heard great things about that area of the park for sure.
Yeah,
That was
it sucks. A lot of
sarcasm.
people won't see it.
Gosh.
What? I don't.
I was sarcasm. I haven't heard anything, but I don't
Oh,
deny that it's.
I thought you actually were.
No, I've never heard anything about that area of the park, but I do. I'm not saying that it's
Because
not.
Thuzies don't go to that park. That's the only. I mean,
Oh, okay, yeah, that is true. I need to get out there for sure. I'm still honestly seeing something really quickly, so I need to.
Personally, my favorite is Adventure Island at Cedar Point. I cannot wait to go visit. I cannot wait to go visit Adventure Island when I go back.
and
to
get
Cedar
back out
Point.
on there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Adventure Island.
whatever it's called. That you took the just close.
Oh, the Frontier thing.
Yeah,
Frontier Island. Is that what it was?
Wasn't what? What the hell was it?
I don't know. I just googled it up and it says you take the Snake River expedition to Adventure Island. So that's what
Islands of Adventure? Was it Islands of Adventure? Forbidden Frontier
That's what it was.
That's what it
on,
was. Yeah, yeah.
on Adventure Island.
On Adventure Island.
Oh, on
Okay.
Adventure Island.
Yeah, I forgot they included that little
Okay.
nomenclature there. That
Well,
was-
my favorite is for the Forbidden Frontier. I cannot wait to go back to the Forbidden Frontier at Cedar Point.
Got some bad news for you.
Actually, my favorite part is the Led Zeppelin section of Hard Rock Park. I cannot wait to go back.
I was just there this morning.
Yeah.
I have to say, my favorite. That's tough. That's a tough question. There's so many great themed areas.
We already went over this last week. We both went over-
Dollywood's. What was that?
we went over what ours was last week pretty much. We both know.
Yeah, I mean we do, but I'm trying to think of one outside of that.
Yeah.
I think Dollywood's. What is it there?
You are talking about
is it
Fly or Rookburg
Yeah.
or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah. Rickberg, yeah.
Yeah, Ruckburg is definitely. Well, what is Dollywood's? Is it Rivertown Junction or whatever? What is their 50s area called? That's where Lightning Rod's located, right? Jukebox Junction, not Rivertown Junction. Jukebox Junction. That area of the park's
Yeah.
really cool. I think they do a great job of really setting up the scene, make you feel like you're in the 50s. And then obviously with Lightning Rod, they always have the music playing. I think it's just really well done there. I like that. I like they have the diner. I think they do a good job there with that. But yeah, Rookburg for sure is, without a doubt,
Yeah.
the best.
Honestly,
You
all the
can't- you can't
Fantasia
top it.
Land. All
Honestly, the only thing that comes close to it is Jungle Expedition for sure. The way that you bleed right into Backlot is just mwah, perfect.
See, I really liked Aeronautical Landing, but it was like when you get to Boo Blasters, I'm like, is this part of Aeronautical Landing? I can't
my
tell.
God.
There's no sign.
Oh yeah, according to Bob, there should be a sign that says this ride belongs to this section of the park.
I did not say that. That was solely to appease you.
That was
Moron.
you. You said that.
To appease you. I was telling them they have to put up a sign so you'll shut up.
I didn't say it. You said it. It was out of your mouth. I could pull that soundbite back, and it's you that said it, not me. Oh my lord. I just okay. Let's move on. Lastly, next week's weekly poll is going to be: does year-round operation hurt or help regional parks?
You are
So-
fake news.
We've had two arguments now on the show. That's kind of a rare instance. I mean, normally we have one, but man, two is.
This is a very different episode.
I know, right?
I know.
Everything
This feels,
about
like
this.
this feels very classic coaster talk to me.
It does. So yes, respond to our polls, our poll via numerous outlets. You can respond. Go to coastertalkpodcast.com/poll, or by following us on our social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter @CoasterTalkPod. You can also follow us on Mastodon @CoasterTalkPod, @universadon.com. YouTube, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, Coaster Talk Podcast. We do our weekly live stream there. I'm not even going to say we do videos anymore because at this point it's not true. Contact us, coastertalkpodcast.com/contact with any comments, questions, concerns, feedback. Also, you can do that at feedback@coastertalkpodcast.com if you would rather choose that medium. And then finally, you can peruse our store, coastertalkpodcast.com/shop is how you can access our store. All right, so with that being said, we almost made it to 200. I wonder if with our intro and outro, we're at 200, probably around 200. 200 minutes.
200
No, 2
episodes.
hours. We've almost made it to 2 hours.
James has no idea what he's talking about.
It's a server. I'm just kidding.
It's a guild.
It's a kernel. I'm just kidding.
Doesn't matter. Discord's gonna die anyway. So
All right. Well, with that being said, thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Hopefully that 2 hours didn't kill you, but hopefully it was good content. And we will see you guys all next week. Bye, everyone.
see ya.
Bye, guys.
I think that was a good episode.
I think so too.
I agree.
It did feel very classic. I agree. We weren't going off the rails like normal, which is nice.
Yeah, we were.
We did a little bit, but
The
like
first half. The first half was very normal coaster talk, and then the second half was very classic.
well, I think
coaster
we
talk.
went off an appropriate amount of time. It was apropos in the times that we went off topic, right? Like I feel like we, for the most part, remained on topic where it needed to be, and then like we did talk about fiat currency and stuff. That was kind of off topic. as well, but-
Was it
Yeah, a
really?
little bit.
We're talking about cashless.
Exactly.
Sure.
So economic structure matters there.
Economic structure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess we did kind of link our rabbit trails at least.
Yeah, it wasn't like, hey, they're going cashless. Why is the sky blue? It's because of the receptors in our eyes pick up that wavelength. It wasn't anything like that.
Did you know that there's an antique store called Squash a Penny in Doswell?
That's off topic. You see, that's where I'm talking
No.
about.
That's like the only other thing to do in Doswell, though. To be fair.
But it makes me wonder, do they have penny press?
You could do that during the winter as opposed to going to King's Dominion. Okay, good night.
Squash a Penny Junction.
Yes. No. What? The real question is Squash a penny within Jungle Expedition?
They're closed. They open at 11 a.m. on Saturday.
That's just the part, coincidentally. So maybe it is part of Jungle Expedition. Maybe that's why they have those hours.
That's a different exit. No, that's not an exit.
Bro, it is so satisfying to like get the earwax out of these earbuds. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm in the Google Maps hole, damn it.
No, we're never gonna get him out of here. He's stuck in the hole forever.
He's deeper than the NBC Universal.
Exactly. I was
CEO.
thinking the same thing.
Babadook. Babadook. I'm gonna upload the episode.
The episode,
Yeah, my audio, sorry, from the episode.
and it's live.
And our show is on. It's up. What do you think about the haircut and the beard trim, Timmy?
I think it looks good. How like the sideburns like are in line with the beard.
I forgot we're live still. How do you guys like it in the audience?
Dude, this area of Doswell's themed really well. I gotta get you a link. It's too long for the YouTube. For YouTube though. Yeah.
How did I know that was gonna be?
What? Oh.
Well done. All right, so with that being said, time for the end of the show. See you guys all next week.
What?
Sometimes I wish that my segues and my outros were actually just like accepted by everyone in real life, so I could just say like, "All right, we're done with this conversation. Bye."
Yeah, that's what happens when you start losing. You're just like, yep, I'm done.
Yep. I learned that from Bob Kamertz.
That's the plan.
Teach your children well, Bob.
Railroad crossing. Dude, I want to go to I want to
Doesn't
drive
this kinda
down
look like a
Doswell
tampon?
Road.
It looks like a little lightsaber.
A really, really little one, yeah.
Yeah.
A little one.
A weirdo one.
Just itty bitty.
Where's the link for the upload the files to? Oh, I got it. Never mind. Teach your children well. Your father still.
Good Lord, there's a lot of train tracks around this area. I guess that's
Oh,
where
yeah.
they
Oh,
got
yeah,
Squash
there's-
a Penny.
It's
Yeah.
really squish them, yeah.
Looks like freaking Martinsburg. Next time I go to Kansas Dominion, I gotta drive down Doswell Road just for the hell of it.
You'll probably get stuck behind a train.
Probably.
Feeling good out on the road. It's been down before.
All right.
Big old jet airliner.
We're gonna
Don't
end the
carry me
stream.
too far away. Yeah. Big old jet airliner.
All right, guys.
'Cause it's here that I've got to stay. Hey.
See you guys.
Bye,
We'll
guys.
see you next week.
Bye.